This is your last chance. After this, there's no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth.
And this will be our last chance to say.
Trying to free your mind. Is this feeling perfect?
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
I can only show you the door. You're the one that's to walk through.
The world is changing every day. Civilization is weird.
Time's coming.
That's
Train can't be stopped. It's already here.
This is your last chance. After this, there's no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth.
And this will be our last chance to say.
Trying to free your mind. Is this feeling perfect?
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Heavy, wrong, a lot of sheriff calling.
I can only show you the door.
Waking up.
You're the one that's to walk through.
Very fast. The world is changing every day.
Civilization is weird.
Time's coming. Train can't be stopped. It's already here.
This is your last chance. After this, there's no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth.
And this will be our last chance to say.
Trying to free your mind. Is this feeling perfect?
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Heavy, wrong, a lot of sheriff calling.
I can only show you the door.
Waking up.
You're the one that's to walk through.
Very fast. The world is changing every day.
Civilization is weird.
Time's coming. Train can't be stopped. It's already here. Train can't be stopped. It's already here.
This is your last chance. After this, there's no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. After you wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth.
And this will be our last chance to say.
Trying to free your mind. Is this feeling perfect?
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Heavy, wrong, a lot of sheriff calling.
I can only show you the door.
Waking up.
You're the one that's to walk through.
Very fast. The world is changing every day.
Civilization is weird.
Time's coming. Train can't be stopped. It's already here.
This is your last chance. After this, there's no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth.
And this will be our last chance to say.
Trying to free your mind is this feeling deserves to me.
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Genuine, heavy, raw, great. Sheriff calling.
I can only show you the door.
Waking up.
You're the one that's to walk through.
Great message. The world's changing. Every day. Time's coming. Train can't be stopped. It's already here.
This is your last chance. After this, there's no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth.
And this will be our last chance to say.
Trying to free your mind is this feeling deserves to me.
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Genuine, heavy, raw, great. Sheriff calling.
I can only show you the door.
Waking up.
You're the one that's to walk through.
Great message. The world's changing. Every day. Time's coming. Train can't be stopped. It's already here.
This is your last chance. After this, there's no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want.
Check, ladies and gentlemen.
You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth.
And this will be our last chance to say.
Trying to free your mind is this feeling deserves to me.
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Genuine, heavy, raw, great. Sheriff calling.
I can only show you the door.
Waking up.
You're the one that's to walk through.
Great message. The world's changing. Every day. Time's coming. Train can't be stopped. It's already here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Tru Perspective on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Rumble. Now streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. Go to Rumble, rumble.com/the Tru Perspective, the TRU Perspective. That's like I said last night when we were last night with the Rhode Island Fair and elections. I said, go to Rumble. You got to go to Rumble. Oh, you got to turn this phone down. Hold on. And we in the house with Jay Chattelle, the people's poet.
Let's go.
Shout outs to Todd Chattelle. We were speaking off camera. He couldn't make it, but shout outs to Todd Chattelle. We'll get you back in here. There'll be plenty of time. There's plenty of time. But I know that you and I were going back and forth. We spoke very briefly over at the Res. Shout outs to the Res. And you're already at top of the list of getting you back in here because there's been a lot of things that's been going on with HULU. You have a publicist that's been helping you out with a lot of things. You got an album that's coming out or is already dropped. Is it already dropped? Or
No,
it's
it's
coming
not.
out?
It's not officially released.
Okay.
We got a couple more weeks. Pick that date. I'm just not trying to be as strategic as in just making sure my ducks are in order.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's done. It's complete. Which that as an artist is a
Yeah, it's all a process. That artistic process is always the toughest because you want to make sure that you got the right music or the right. You want to stay in line with the right message that you got going on. But that's dope, man. Because I think I saw you post something about that. I saw you and then I don't want to skip around.
Right.
We let's talk about what's this Hulu thing about? Because that was like one of the first big things I saw, and I was like, yo, he's gonna be he's gonna be featured on Hulu. He's coming on Hulu. I mean, that's dope, dude. Like that's awesome.
So first and foremost, thank you for having me back, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always a privilege and an honor to be in your presence. You're one of the most hard-working, inspiring people that I've been working with over the years. Right from the rip, our paths kept crossing, and I think I called you up begging you to get on my album. He was like, "What is this?"
Not begging. You didn't beg. You reached out to me. I actually felt very honored to.
I'm just teasing.
Yeah, no, I know.
Well, I like, you know, 'cause I appreciate your presence, your work, you know, your ethic, everything around, everything that makes you. So I just want to say thank you for having me back here.
I'm humbled about that, brother.
Big shout out to Dr. Remy Jones. She's my publicist.
Okay.
Somebody put it in my ear some time ago. You know, you gotta just really surround yourself by professionals. You want to be somewhere that you never been. You gotta put people that's been there, you know, in your presence. You gotta work with those type of people. There is this publicist, Dr. Remy Jones. That's a very hard-working individual. That's very motivated and is getting things done. And so I ended up linking up with her as time went on. I ended up linking up with her, and we had a meeting. She interviewed me for a magazine, and then it was from the rip. It was off right there. It was like a no-brainer to hire her. You know, I had to hire her. It's a paid position.
Right.
She ain't doing it for free. I tell you that right now. We all got, you know.
Yeah.
It's not a you know, but she's well worth it. Especially when you don't know what you know and she knows what she knows. You know, you can work all you want and you're jumping through hoops when you don't have to, you know.
I mean, sometimes you need people in your circle like that in order to
You
do those types of things. Like, you know, everyone has their own position on being best at something.
Yeah.
That you know, you may not, your time may not be there, so you're gonna have to hand it to somebody else. And it sounds really good that she's, you know.
Yeah, she kept me motivated. So then when she started working with me, right? She started giving me goals and checklists that I had to check off.
Yeah,
right, you know. And as I started checking them off, she seen I was motivated, that I'm willing to do my part. You know, she's not just wasting her efforts with me. I'm not wasting my money.
Yeah.
It's crazy because man, I hate regrets. I tell you this right now. So the first couple of let me just tell you, I gotta be honest.
Okay.
Always honest. So the first couple of things she sent me to do, I didn't do them. and it started with checking my emails. Right?
Okay.
I'll tell you this right now. I started checking my emails. Right from the rip, she said, Jay, you gotta check your emails. You gotta get accustomed to checking your emails daily. Things gonna come in. You gotta answer them. That's the way the business world works, is through email. Just check your emails. Oh yeah. I'll check my emails. But I got so many avenues. I got so many things going on. Emails wasn't at the top of my priority.
Right.
So she, you know, I'm in contact, you know, once a week with her, whatever our schedule is, and she messaged me, "Hey, I sent you some emails. Did you respond to them?" "Oh, I'll get to them." So I finally got to them. I was a day late when I got to them. Let me tell you who I missed. You ready for this? Rick Ross.
Like to meet him or
to meet, greet, being like a workshop with them, being like an exclusive presence. Like only so many people could be in there.
Right.
She got me in that, and I freaking blew it.
Right.
Rick Ross, Damon from Fubu from Shark Tank.
Okay.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh shit.
Andy Anderson, the comedian.
Wow.
Missing one other person. It was 5 heavy hitters from music,
like in one
movie.
day, like
the same
day. Damn.
The same, like it was like it was like it was like the place I'm supposed to be at. You know, it's a place that you want to be at.
Right,
like,
right.
It was in Harlem at the Apollo Theater. You know, it was like it was an exclusive thing. You can't buy tickets. You have to be invited.
It's like an invite only type thing.
Invite only type of thing.
Okay.
And when I checked my emails a day later, I missed it. I you know, sorry, you know, which call is closed, blah blah blah, whatever. I messaged. She goes, Jay, what are you doing? That was a big one. And I'll tell you how I got the full support and the momentum. Like I got to go all in. while I'm checking my emails, I'm laying in bed with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I start telling her the people. She knows all the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't know the people I just named?
Right.
And she goes, "Wow, that's big." Because you got to pay it. What are you paying this lady for if you're not going to do what you're supposed to be doing? You better stop paying attention, my wife said, right? She kind of like cracked the whip on me, like, stop paying attention.
Yeah.
So I called her up. I apologized, which can't make up for what I did. Very next thing she put in, Amazon Music.
There you go.
I got an invite to Amazon Music. The following week, I'm over in Brooklyn, New York at Amazon Music on top of the rooftop with producers, directors, editors of music, of entertainment, not the rappers, not the people that are always in front of the camera, the guys that make stuff happen behind the camera.
Right, right.
That's the people you want to be meeting with.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So I'm on top of the rooftop, and then so after that first one, it was like, wow, like this. What am I doing? Like, this is what I've been working for. I'm gonna blow it because I'm not paying attention. I'm not
to an email. Yeah.
to an email.
Yeah, right. I hear you.
So then the next one was Amazon Prime and Hulu.
There you go.
She says, all right, I got these things. This is what's on my radar right now. Her contacts. She has her contacts, whatever. You interested in doing ABCD? And I was like, listen, I'm interested. If you think it's right for me, I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
Sign me up. I promise you, I'm not gonna miss another one. And when she did that, Amazon Prime showed up, and then the next one was the Hulu presentation, which to me was the red carpet event.
Mm-hmm.
That was that's what everyone got to see.
Yeah.
But
because like everyone has Hulu, you know what I'm saying?
Everyone has Hulu,
so it's like everyone knows what Hulu is. You know what I mean?
it was so
it's like right next to Netflix. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like right there.
Hulu, Netflix,
Yeah,
Netflix, and then Hulu.
Yeah. When Hulu's right there. Yeah, exactly.
So at that
And
event,
of course, Amazon Prime is a big one too.
oh yeah, Amazon, yeah, right.
Amazon Prime's huge.
It was for a 007 movie event.
Like presentation.
Well, it was a presentation, but it wasn't like a release of it. It was it was like a feedback, like
Gotcha.
something that they do with. They're sharpening up their presentation before they release it to the public.
Gotcha. Okay.
So again, it's behind the scenes type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's in the eye public. They release whatever they want, images they want to release, but it's really behind the scenes. It's the people that are putting the movie together. It's the people that are the producers, the directors. Those are the people that you want to be around.
Yeah.
So that was dope. I had a small part. Very very small part out of those three things I got to do. I played my role. I did what I was supposed to do that day.
Mm-hmm.
But the Hulu event, that was, right in Brooklyn. It was right in Brooklyn.
Nice.
Right in Biggie Smalls' neighborhood. I ended up meeting his real friends while I was there.
No shit. Wow.
Right. I ended up meeting some other music individuals while I was there. I met some other, I met some other people while I was there.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about networking, shaking the hand. If the people like you, willing to take a chance on you, they'll hit you up and they keep working with you. You know,
making relationships
making
happen.
relationships happen, right?
Yeah.
So those, with the publicist, like I was able to do that. The publicist, she is responsible for a big award show that's coming to Rhode Island.
Okay.
She's getting sponsorships. I just seen another sponsorship. I want to say it was Cox Cable. I think
was that the one that everyone had to vote on?
Right.
That one. Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Everyone had to vote on it.
Yep.
It's at Providence PPAC, which is true. Let me just say this. From my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
in my journey, since I decided to make it known that I'm a professional entertainer, professional poet,
Mm-hmm.
the dream has been to perform at Providence PPAC. To me, it's equal to my brother Todd having the pay-per-view event that was at the Providence Civic Center.
Yeah.
That Todd's in MMA, that's at the Civic Center, that falls in line with him.
Mm-hmm.
The Civic Center is great and all for me to perform there, right? You got all them people, but it's not prestigious in my line of work as Providence PPAC.
Yeah.
Providence PPAC is right on line.
It's got a
with
lot
Broadway.
of history. Yeah.
A lot of history.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when I mean Broadway, I mean in New York.
Yep.
Right? That's the elite.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All the greatest actors want to go to they take time away from movies to go do plays on Broadway to sharpening their craft, sharpening their skills to say they are part of the elite. You know, so that's how I look at it with Providence P-PAC. And once I was voted on to the award show, I started, you know, and I hired her as my publicist. I started paying attention more. Obviously, I'm excited about the award. It's not about the award, even not so much as the recognition. It's part of being. It's just the fact of being a part of that energy of people that are doing things, right? Yeah. It's that draw of positive people moving in all with the same purpose.
Yeah.
That's what, you know, that's what I'm drawn to. So I started paying attention to the award show and seeing what she's doing, the people, the caliber of people that she's bringing on to make it credible, you know. And then she goes and posts about the entertainment end of it. Now there's a committee. She doesn't get just because she's my publicist doesn't mean I get to jump up on stage. You know, I don't got a green card.
Right.
Do whatever I want.
Right.
She has a whole committee. Her show is legit across the board, as it should be. But I asked her, I was like, yeah, listen, I would love to. It's been the dream of mine to put that on my resume that I performed at Providence P-PAC. She goes, Jay, if, you know, I'm going to bring it to the committee. Since you told me that, I'm going to bring it to the committee. And if, you know, when the time is right, you make sure you submit everything. You know, there she goes again.
Yeah, yeah.
Make sure you submit everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know,
check your emails, Jay.
Check your emails. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully I get one of those performer cards to get on that stage.
I think you're on your way. You're definitely on your way. You're definitely making a lot of noise for sure. You know what I'm saying? Hulu, Amazon Prime. You got the album coming out.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? And not only just that, just those things coming out. It's all of the past that you have too, building up to these points. So I mean, you've been making waves for as long as I've known you.
Wow.
You've been making waves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So listen, you deserve it. So when the time comes, and I do believe the time will come for you. It's already come for you. You already have it. Put it this way: you already have it. It's just a matter of time where it manifests. That's all.
Let me humble myself because I never like God humbling me. Right. First and foremost, it's my God making the way. If God's not,
100%.
If it's not for God, I don't want nothing to do with it. The past several months, I was after a position called a poet laureate of the state of Rhode Island. I haven't heard. It's January 1st. Just came and went a couple days ago. I was told I would have heard something by January 1st if I was one of the main runners or the person to be.
Yeah, I remember you putting that out there. That was also another vote too.
And it's crazy because I got Mayor Donald Grebian backing me. State Senator Sandra Cano wrote my recommendation letter. Ex-mayor, current Rhode Island treasurer James Dioso backing me. Current mayor Bob DeSilva backing me. One of the top brasses at the Rhode Island State Troopers, who's also my pastor, Pastor Wesley Penniston, who wrote into the governor. His job was to protect the governor. You know? Wrote into the governor's office, hey, that you know. So I had all these. It kind of makes you feel like you're going to get the position, but you never know.
Right.
Ultimately, it's up to the governor. He makes the position happen, and so I haven't heard yet, but I say all that to say this.
Have they announced anyone yet? I don't think they have. I haven't seen anything about it.
I haven't seen anything
either.
yet. So, you know, hopefully it's still there. But I said it from the beginning. I only want the position if it's God appointed, and I will know because the people that were involved, right? You know, just because solely because the people that were involved, right?
Right.
If it happens because it was supposed to happen.
100%.
I say that. So let me take you back about 15 years, I think. 2009. Where are we at? 2024. How long was that? 15 years, right?
Yeah. Yep.
About 15 years. So 2009, 2008, I professed I'm a professional poet. 2009, I find myself at AS220, and one of the top people at AS220.
Legendary spot.
I crossed paths with them, and this lady, I can't remember her name. I want to say it was Rose or something like that. She's like, Jay, I got a perfect position for you. I can get you in to talk to the kids at the Rhode Island Training School. And I say, what? You know, I've only been a professional poet for a year at this time. What do I know about teaching anybody how to be a poet? This is what's going on in the back of my brain, to be truthful. So I declined it. I tell you the truth. I don't like living with regrets, but you know, sometimes you like just like that, not answering that email,
right.
Just start kicking yourself in the behind, like, you know, like, dude, you know, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
A couple years passed, and I was like, damn, I should have just did it. What am I nervous of? What could have went wrong? You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, I don't want to be looked at as a fraud, to be truthful, right? I'm not a teacher, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to be. I think kids can see right through that, right? And that's what was going on in my brain, to be honest, all the way to be not honest, to be open, right? So I'd say late summertime, when they first announced about the poet position for the state of Rhode Island, I was invited to do a poem in the park, Anna Moniz' park in East Providence. If ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who Anna Moniz is, it's worth the time looking her up.
What's the name?
Anna Moniz.
Anna.
It's either ONNA or ANNA. Anna. I don't know. I can look. I'll send you her information. But
This is a park.
She's a park and a person.
Yeah,
and it's a
well,
park.
it's a park in her name.
In her name, right? So she's an older lady. She's one of the historians. She's one of the legitimate museum historians for Rhode Island, and she keeps like African American culture, Cape Verdean culture. She has like artifacts that are, you know, after she's long dead and gone, you know, somebody else is going to take over and keep it going.
Okay.
She's worked with the president. The president brought her in to the White House.
Okay.
You know, like, you know, how many people in Rhode Island can say stuff like that, right? She's worked with many congressmen and helped change laws and get things moving. And she held some state official positions here in Rhode Island also. Okay. So her daughter became a doctor, of course, right? You know, good DNA helps good DNA. Yeah. She ends up becoming, her daughter ends up becoming the principal and one of the directors at Rhode Island Training School. Okay. So here I am performing at the park, and mind you, I'm there because of people that passed away. So it's not, you know, you've lost someone that means the world to you, as have I. When you're speaking for other people that passed away, it could be very intimidating, right? You don't want to hurt people anymore. You want to try to console. You know, you want to really truly be there. So the piece of poetry that I performed, ultimately, I believe it expressed that. After she came up, she already knew who I was at this point. I didn't know who she was. She knew who I was. We was introduced to each other. She said that, you know, over the years she's seen me, and she's a believer in my work and things of that nature. And comes to find out, she's her position at the Rhode Island Training School. She goes, you know,
this same school that
in 15 years ago that I turned away. And mind you, after I turned, a couple years after I turned it away, it was on my heart. You know, have you ever wanted to do something, didn't do it, and you really
and it sticks here.
It sticks, and that happened to me. And then since that time, once the confidence built in, once the not so much the accolades, but those help, right? The things I've done over the years, once those things started kicking in, my brain started like, what are you doing? You belong working with these kids, you know? So I took the opportunity when she told me what she did. I told her, you know, how I felt, you know, what happened in the past. And she goes, Jay, and I've heard this before, like just like the poetry stuff. I got your back. I got your back. I got your back. If anyone can get you in, it's me. I can get you in. Nobody can promise. I don't care who you are. Nobody can promise you anything. Right. So I believed her, but this for some reason there's like a little skeptical. You know, everything I've been through in my life, you know, I feel like I'm not worthy still for some reason. I'm an anointed man, and I still feel like I have to get right somehow in my life and get rid of that completely.
I feel that, brother.
You know, you got to. So I walk by faith, not by sight, and but what, only for what I'm enticed to? It's got to be for everything, right? Yep. So Sure enough, she kept her word. I went, filled out my BCI. If you don't know what that is, that's like the end all be all of your criminal record.
Yeah,
Like, everything you ever done in your life is on that. And I looked at it, I'm like, are you sure? Like,
Yeah.
I had over 76 convictions.
Mm-hmm.
Let that sink in for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
That's not everything. That's not every time I've been arrested. That's how many times I had to, I've been formally charged.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the other things I wasn't charged with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Formally 76 times.
Mm-hmm.
That's not normal.
Right.
I looked at, are you sure you can get me in? Are you sure? Jay, just submit it. Just, you're doing God's work.
There you go.
She says that, boom, I knew it. At that, there was no more doubt in my mind at that point.
Yeah.
She messaged me last week. Check your email.
Check your email.
I want to start doing comedy. Check your emails.
You said that last time, dude. I'm gonna do comedy, man. It's gonna be about now. It's just gonna be nothing about emails, man.
So I checked my email. The minute the email, I got notifications on.
Yeah.
Before I didn't have notifications on for email. I got them on.
I hope you got them on loud now. It can go beep beep beep.
I checked immediately, filled out the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that good with email. I gotta confess. I sent it.
I
sent it, and it didn't. They couldn't. They didn't get the paperwork the right way. I kept trying to send it. I said, listen, it's gonna take me about 25 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
I will be right there. So I keep.
You handed it into him.
I jumped in the car. I flew down there. I'm not trying to take anything to chance.
I hear you.
And the
That's
crazy
awesome.
thing is, as I'm walking through the training school doors, now it's a brand new building since I was there.
Yeah.
30 years to this year, 1994. I was incarcerated in the Rhode Island Training School. I was 16 years old. 30 years ago, right? So 94, right? This is right here, 30 years.
You're asking the wrong person about math to be quick like that. But yeah, I'm gonna say it sounds about right.
Sounds about close enough.
Close enough.
There's still employees that were there from when I was there that remember me.
Wow.
Right? I walked through the door. Paulie Williams, he's a fixture at the training school. He's one of the hot beats that kids are drawn to. He's just a real individual that truly cares about his job. It's not just a paycheck to him. He makes an impact with these kids. He made an impact on my life when I was in there. He was one of the main guys that always had my back when I was in there. So much so that in 1995, I went up for early release, and they don't do this in training school. But there was just so many kids in the training school. 100 kids went up for early release. How many kids you think got early release?
Probably not a lot.
Two.
Only two.
2 kids out of 100 kids got early release. You're looking at one of them. It was a few weeks shaved off your sentence, but you don't get early release in training school. There's no such thing. It's not like jail.
Right.
I mean, it's not like the adult correctional institution. So, I had people stand up for me, go for bat for me. I ended up getting the early release, and I left. And throughout the years, I crossed paths with a lot of these people that I met throughout the years. Joe Cuso was another one who actually who was a staff member there. They didn't call him correctional officer. They called them staff members. Now they have a different. They go by like this.
Different terminology.
Different terminology now, right?
Yeah.
So, over the years, Joe Cuso became a friend of mine. Like a guy I care about. He cares about me. Went out of his way to help me out a bunch of times. You know what I mean? It's just so there's genuine relationships that were built right there at the training school in a place that you don't find relationships. You know what I mean? You find heartbreak, pain,
looking
trials
over your
and
shoulder.
tribulations.
Yeah.
Right. You don't. Yeah. It's just, and let me tell you, outside of the killings, right, in the ACI, training school is more dangerous because young testosterone men that truly don't care about anything.
Right. Emotions all out of whack. Yeah.
All out of whack.
Yeah.
You're going through puberty still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always stuff going every day. There's stuff that goes on in the training school. At least when I was there, then I'm sure it has. Then my brother was there. My other brother was there. It didn't change. It got worse. So, to build some relationships. And when I walked in I got to hug Paulie. He seen me. I got to hug him. I know for a fact that the relationships back then that were curated helped. The minute I walk through the door, I'm handing my paperwork. I'm hugging a man that's been there over 30-something years, right? There's some other gentlemen there, AJ Benton, Brooksy. There's some other individuals that are like the heartbeat over there that I know that were there when I was there. They're there right now currently, and so that I think helped make it easy not easy. Helped me get into the door. I just got accepted at the Rhode Island Training School as one of the teachers. I'll know Monday morning I'm going in for my walkthrough. My shake my hands with all the people I got to properly shake hands with.
Nice, brother.
And I got to be there for 9 or 9:30 in the morning at the Rhode Island Training School. But that meeting right there alone, it's like when I'm gonna get there early just to take it all in and take, you know what I mean? Like, who knows? I mean, happy tears probably. You get what I'm saying?
Bro.
It's like a completion of a process, but at the beginning of another process.
Dude, look at the 360. Look at how it all comes full circle right there. You're saying that you were there 15 years ago. You met
30.
Sorry, 30 years ago.
Oh yeah, 15 years ago for the position. Yeah.
Right, for the position. But
30 years ago I served time there.
30. Yeah. Okay, so 30 years ago you served time there. 15 years
later,
you're offered a position.
Yeah.
You decline it.
I decline it.
With the reasons that you spoke of, and then now what is another 15 years?
Right, another 15
later,
years.
It's all come full circle, and now you're actually going back to you're seeing the people that some of the people that were there helping you through that at that time, at a difficult time then, as a younger man, much younger man, right at that time, and now all of the stuff that you've gone through since then, pain, misfortune, success, carrying all that over into 2024, all of those steps that you've taken, all of the things that have been happening right now, and then you meet this Anna Moni's daughter,
right? Heather Moniz Williams. No, Dr. Heather Moniz Williams. I don't know. She got a long name.
It's a long name.
It's a long name.
And she sees you at her mother's event, memorial park.
Yeah.
Here's your poetry. She said that she's already known about you, so she's already had her eye on you, knows about knows of you,
of the work,
and then now offers that back to you after hearing your story, and now it all comes full circle, and now you actually get to do something that you had earlier declined in your life that stuck to your heart. You know what I'm saying? And you've already experienced these things, so you already have an aspect of knowing what these kids are going through, what the young youth is going through. That's dope.
Yeah.
Like, dude, awesome. That is God's work right there.
I appreciate
100%. That's God's work, and that's also God talking right there. That's God speaking right there too, leading that out.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. I mean,
congratulations, by the way, bro.
Thank you, man. When was the first show I did with you? You remember the date? Or do you remember when it was?
It was in December.
So 1 year ago, right now.
Yes,
it was 1 year ago. Oh, so
it was
right when I got anointed.
Yeah.
Right
that was the anointing episode. That was when you came.
I think it was the same day or the day after I got anointed. Correct.
Yes. Yep.
So since then, I haven't missed a Bible study.
Good for you.
Now I'm at church, as you know. We go to the same church. I see you in church.
Yep.
I just signed up for pastor college at the church.
Wow.
Which it's part of the church. I can't say it's at the church. It's part of the church.
Yep. Okay.
Pastor Tony, Pastor Donovan, Pastor Mike. I just signed up for so it's a 1 year course. You got to pay for it. It's a schooling. It's a 1 year course. It's a four course program. They teach you 4 different things, but by the time you're done, you're able to get, you're able to get on stage and preach or whatever it is that you're using that schooling for. They get you ready. Essentially, like, for lack of a better terms, I don't mean to minimize it, but like a motivational speaker, right? I hate to be right because you're doing God's work. It's not motivational speaking.
Right. I think it runs in that same energy, but what you're doing, it's definitely much different from motivational speaking. You're doing the speaking of God. You're speaking God's word.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's another tool for the bag, and at the same time, it's the right tools. You can have the wrong tool and it'll take you all day with your frustrations, but you get the right tools, and the job gets done. And so I'm really equipping myself with the right tools. You know, I thought I had the right tools before. You know, I took a master class by that was in line with Les Brown and Enrique Henry. I can't remember. I'm probably dyslexic there right now, but you know, Les Brown is.
It sounds familiar. The
Motivational speaker.
Yeah. Okay.
Les Brown, Tony Robbins.
Yep.
Zig Ziglar.
Yep.
These are the world's biggest name. What's the other guy?
Is that the bit? Because I know one of them. Like he's a pretty big guy, but he's tall and he has a big voice to him. I think that might be Tony.
That's no. That's Tony Robbins.
I think that's
That's Tony Robbins. So Les Brown's big thing was he was he was deemed mentally retarded.
Really?
And he was homeless and something else.
He was diagnosed like that?
Yeah, diagnosed mentally retardation.
Really?
That was what it was called. Mentally retarded. So he talks about it.
Yeah, okay.
He talks about it. And he was working at a school. He was working at a school and the professor asked him, and he's like, you got me the professor asked him a question. He said, "Yeah, you got the wrong person. I'm here as an employee. I'm not even. I'm mentally retarded." And he goes, and that guy pointed something out there. You know, you're proclaiming that you're. Don't worry about the labels that these people put on you. So that I guess that guy opened him up somehow, and one thing led to another. And now the guy's one of the. If you don't know,
one of the most successful.
Google search Les Brown. Yeah. And so I got my.
I think I know who you're talking about. I know faces better than names.
Yeah, I took their course and I got a you know, my certificate and stuff, you know, to hang on the plaque on the wall and stuff like that. But you know, that's just, you know, the credentials that some people like, you know, some people need to see that stuff.
Yeah.
So you can be who you are. Other people like Heather Moniz knows the good work and you know, you don't need stuff like that.
Right. Sees your work rather than your credentials. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
100%.
So that's pretty cool. So I you know, there's a lot of good things in the works right now, and they're all including every single one of them is from God right now.
Yeah,
if it's not God sent, I promise you, I don't want nothing to do it right now. No more. I've been through too much in my life. I don't want to. Why fight against the grain? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, you got a spirit. You know, you got a soul. You know, I watch you. I pay attention to things you post. It was one of the main reasons why Todd agreed to come. He wasn't gonna come, you know. And unfortunately, my brothers, we're getting a big storm right now.
Yeah.
And so that changed. Changed everything right now.
It's you know, when you sent that text to me, I laughed, but not like laughing at it. I laughed like, like I got it.
Yeah.
Because I've come so much. I come so far in a year. By the grace of God, you know what I'm saying? And because before I get into that, let me back up here, because when you first came here, I think I knew that you were I don't know, I'm gonna call it this spiritual journey, because I've just seen the work that you've been doing over the years by following you, but I didn't know that you were in church. I didn't know what your beliefs completely were. I mean, I actually had more of an understanding when you came the first time and understood it then, but I hadn't known prior to that. I had no idea. All I knew that I think that you were just on the right path and you were doing the right thing and trying to apply that to yourself and maybe being an inspiration to others, which evidently you have been. So, but now that I saw you at church, I was like, oh, this is what he was talking about when he sent this to me. I had no idea. And then evidently, brother, is my my girlfriend knew about this church because she works in a charter school. So she works with some of the people that are actually attend the church. And she told me about it, and like I've always been on my search. Like I'm a reader. I have to read, and I have to know. I have to really know. But it's good that you also said too. I also have to follow by faith, not always by sight.
Right.
Always by faith, not always by sight. But anyway, my search has always been continuing. Now I get introduced to this church, and I told myself I would never step into a church. I never believed in church. I still don't believe in some things of the church, not this one specifically, but I'm generalizing. However, I believe in the energy and the power that is present, and I only want to be around that. I where if it happens to be in a temple of place like that, in a church of place like that, so be it. Let it be so. So when you say the only things that you want, it has to be from God and only from God, I totally am in full understanding of that, because I don't want any of the devil's fruit. You know what I'm saying?
Right, 100%.
All of us,
especially right now.
Oh
my God,
you know what I'm saying?
right now.
So it was cool to see you at the church. I was like, oh, this is the church he was sending to me. And then I'm being told about it. And then here I am. And then here you are. And when we saw each other, we hugged each other. And I was like, yo, it's cool to see you. And then we talked for a little bit. And then when we were talking about the podcast, I said, hey, I got you on top of my list because you had mentioned it to me as you were going. And I was like, dude, you're already on top of the list. You already got things. You already got things that I want to talk about and get in here and talk about this part too. So when I had said, hey, do you think Todd will get on? And because I wanted to try and break the ice with him, because talk about some of the stuff that he's and we will. We'll have this again. Maybe I'll just have him come in.
Yeah.
Timing is everything. God timing. But when you had sent me that text, he was like, I'm paraphrasing, but your brother had asked, is he a believer? And then you said yes, and you were tagging me in some of the things that I posted, and I think that I was trying to draw that confirmation.
Right.
100%. I totally understand. The reason why I laughed out when that message was sent to me, it was like, I totally understand what he meant by that. He doesn't want to be around anybody else that isn't on that same level, same power.
He's light years ahead of me in faith.
That's awesome.
He's light years ahead.
That's awesome, dude.
He's like. He knows scriptures, verses, like he knows where to go, how to direct, how to connect the dots. That's
amazing, man.
I got to pay someone to figure this out. He's figured it out on his own.
Todd, when you listen to this, you got to come in here, brother, because I've got questions too. I'm very young to. I mean, I'm not unfamiliar with scripture, but I'm young to it.
Yeah.
But I'm always a student to it. You know what I'm saying? And I'll teach where I can teach, but I'm definitely 100% always a student.
I mean, it like if you look at it like this, like say you believe in nothing, right? Just say you believe in nothing,
right?
And just the world shows you just what it is. What's the oldest book in the world?
Right.
It's the oldest book. How come? Like where is this? It doesn't stay around for no reason.
Sure. Right.
There's like so many things that even scientists the more they try to disprove there's a God, more they become believers.
Yeah, that's actually very true. That's right on point. My walk in this, I've done a lot of reading. I try to get as close to the translate. I don't speak or read Hebrew or Aramaic or Greek or anything like that, but I try to get to as much of the fragment of that original translation as possible. I also have a Jewish friend too who I cross-examine some stuff. If I have a question about it, I'll ask him, hey, what's the translation of this? Because I don't know what this means. Mm-hmm. Does this mean what they're saying it means? And he'll either agree, say that this is what it means, or
break it down.
So I try to get as close as possible to the translation as closely to the translation as possible. And then there's some other stuff that in the canonical version, the canonical Bible, the Vatican, specifically the Catholics, have taken out and rearranged. So this is why a lot of people get this strewed perception of the Bible, Jesus, and all this stuff, and like, oh, is this real? Well, it is real, because, like you said, it wouldn't have lasted as long as it has.
Right.
It is the manual for many things that, to stand by and to stick by and to walk with. So I've looked in Sumerian tablets, which is probably one of the oldest of the versions prior into but and I'm lightly saying that, I'm probably oversimplifying that. That's a deep rabbit hole that we would have to take hours on going down. But because you go into the pantheons and all that stuff, and then the idol worships of the Egyptians and the Greeks and the Romans, and it stems all from that. But the Bible specifically talks about Jesus also talks about this too, is not to idol worship. So because it's a pagan pantheon,
right?
That's where man lost himself.
Right. They lose themselves in pleasure. You know,
And
my brother said this to me. So I have another brother, Ryan.
I think was that the one that I met.
Yeah, at
that's
church.
him.
Right? So Ryan, it's tough when you talk about your own brothers, right? Because it's like talking about your kids, the best kids, right? Right.
Yeah,
But I know a lot of people. True, I know a lot of people. I just know a lot of people.
Yep.
My brother Ryan's one of the smartest people I know. I'm not saying that because he's my brother.
Right.
I got other brothers. It's not an insult to my other brothers.
Right.
He's just one of the smartest. He's generally a book smart person. I want to put it to you this way. This is when I realized he was a book smart person. We're younger. I'm in, I don't know, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, something like that. I come home with my report card. He comes home with his report card. I come walking in. I got like D pluses and C minuses. I'm passing by the skin of my teeth. I'm passing by the skin of my teeth. But I'm passing, so I'm souped. I'm
right.
I'm passing. Ma, look, I did it. I'm not failing no more.
Right.
My brother comes in. And he got a B plus, and he is crying.
Huh.
Absolutely, like he was devastated. I'm like, what the hell, Ryan? What's your problem? What's your problem?
Right.
I'm a kid. I'm not grasping the understanding of this. As I got older, the more I got older, the more I, got to know my brother, right? The more this is true. He ruined his honors for whatever. His honors got ruined. And he was going after high honors. So the only thing that's acceptable was A's and A pluses. Not even an A minus is acceptable to him at this time. So when he got that B plus, it was devastating to him that he took such a bad. And he's a kid. He's not even in high school yet. You know what I'm saying?
So he put the pressure on himself.
This kid, he doesn't watch TV. He reads books at all time.
Nice.
When I first started Iron Shopping Zion, when I first started sharpening my mental capabilities after the motorcycle accident, I chopped my body in half. Right?
Yeah.
For those that don't know, I was involved in a bad motorcycle accident back in 2005. The doctors said I would never walk again, never have use of my left arm. I had to learn how to read, write, walk, talk all over again. No exaggeration, chopped my body in half in a bad motorcycle accident at a stunt show out on the Cape at a Suzuki dealership. So once I got home and I'm out of the darkness of am I gonna die? Am I not gonna die? Right. So now I'm working on my body. My brother started sending me books. The heck I want to do with books? What was the books gonna do for me? Again, this is the kid's smart, right? What's the books gonna do for me, Ryan? I need weights, Mind you, he bought a gym for me. Todd at that time was just setting off on the journey of becoming a professional fighter. He's, I don't think he was a pro fighter at this time, but he was training to be the pro. Right? He went ultimately fat. Like he did like 2 or 3 amateur fights and then he was like great pro.
Yeah.
He was you're supposed to have however many amateur fights and then go pro. But he was so good that they wanted to make money off of him right away. So my brother Ryan, he's an intelligent one. He goes and buys us a gym. At the time, it was I'm in a wheelchair, just getting out of a wheelchair. So myself, Ryan, and Todd became partners on a gym called On Track Fitness. It was in Lincoln, Manville, Lincoln, and those two owned a construction company together. They partnered up on a construction company. But they put me in a position to run the gym myself. I was there day in and day out. We had some employees and stuff, but ultimately I was the guy running everything. I just survived the accident. My brain wasn't put together. Hindsight, there's so much more things I could have did. You know what I mean? To help the gym be more successful. But I was just leaving a corrupt lifestyle, forcefully. Right, I didn't want to leave the lifestyle. Right, but I things started, making choices. God started making choices for me to get me out of there. Right. And so my brother Ryan got us the gym, and where was I just going with that? I just got lost.
So you were talking about, so Because your brother was book smart.
Oh, book smart. Yeah. Oh, so that's what it was. So while I'm at the gym, I'm at the front desk. The kid starts giving me books.
Okay.
What the hell? I want to read
At the
gym.
At the gym. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, internet just started. MySpace.
Yeah, it just started popping, right? Like
MySpace was popping.
Yeah. 2000. What was it? 2004.
2005, 2006.
Yeah, that's right around the era. That was the MySpace era.
2006, 2007, right?
Yeah, it was
so
the MySpace era.
yeah, MySpace was.
Shout out to Tom.
Yeah, it was big, and Facebook just came out. But in order for you to have Facebook, you had to be a college student.
Yeah, yep.
So and so I ended up getting. I want to say I got Facebook in 2007. I was enrolled at CCRI. So I joined Facebook, but I never really paid attention to Facebook. MySpace was my stuff. I loved the music aspect of it. That was truly what drew me. Like all the music that was on MySpace was amazing.
Yep.
So my brother walks in the door and he gets frustrated with me. What are you doing? That read the book, read a book, read a book, read a book. And he always, it got to the point where, somebody can only say something to you so many times before you have to try to give it a try.
Yeah.
But then you fall in love with it.
Right.
He ends up giving me his Kindle information, email, password to get into Kindle, and I started eating up all his books. And you fall like when I was incarcerated, books were a savior, right? It was a good way to get out of there. Unlike a movie,
like
where
mentally leave.
Mentally leave.
Right. Yeah.
Unlike a movie where you got 2 hours, a book, depending on how thick and good the book is, you got a couple of days, right? So 2 days will go by. 2 days will disappear inside the book.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you don't want to put the book down. You go to chow. You come back, pick the book up, just keep reading. You make it through there. So
Sorry about that.
my brother Ryan started feeding me his Kindle books. I tell you, man, that's the best thing that I ever could have did, because once you start diving into a couple books willingly, man, like
sometimes they just take hold of you, man.
So your brain, right? So if you break your arm, right?
Yeah.
You can see your arm's broken. You can do things for your broken arm, right? You can put a split. If you break your finger, you put a splint on your finger, right? But when your brain is damaged, the only thing that works for your brain is activating your brain, reading your brain, forcing your brain to do things, puzzles, math problems, whatever have you. Just physically using your brain, not being on autopilot doing things, but physically using your brain. Once I started doing that, that's how I became a professional poet. It just opened up. It was like a no-brainer. It just opened up the doors. Like once I started reading and I started having these epiphanies, and God started talking to me. The first time, you ever hear the statement, have eyes to see and ears to hear? Those that have eyes to see, let them see. Those that have ears to hear, let them hear.
Yep.
That statement became real at this time. I started watching things, I could hear God's voice. I started reading things and I could hear God's voice. I'm deep in conversations and I know it's God speaking to me, not the people that I'm actually, they're just a conduit sending the energy that I need to hear.
There you go.
And it was an amazing thing. And
Yes, brother.
And that's all big because of my brother Ryan having the belief. Many years later, he confessed. And it's crazy because not only did he confess to me, Ryan, my brother Todd, and my sister Renee, the three of them all confessed to me individually on their own time throughout several years since my motorcycle accident. At the time of my accident, the four of them were not together. Like Ryan was wherever Ryan was, Todd was, Renee was wherever she was, right? When they got the call that I'm dying, they have moments to get to the hospital, say goodbye to me. They all confessed to me that they prayed to God, right? They had this conversation, they opened up. And they weren't telling me this, like, hey, I saved your life. They're not saying something like that. They're saying they gave their life to God. God, if it's your will, show me your will, save my brother's life, and my life is yours. And I'll tell you, Ryan, Todd, and Renee, their lives have changed tenfold. They truly have given their life to God. way before I ever had. Way before I thought it was even perceivable to do something like this. But it became motivation for me, and it really directed my life to do everything that I've done in my life, to do it for God, to do it for the right reasons. Never took a paycheck the whole time I've been doing the works. Never took a paycheck. The minute someone went to go give me a paycheck for doing what I'm doing, whether it's Peace in the Park or whatever have you, right? The anti-tobacco programs that for 12, 15 years, the anti-tobacco programs, the Rhode Island Department of Health. The minute they try to get them, they take the money and I put it off over here to the foundation. I put it off over here to the program that I was helping out with. They just take the money. I didn't want anything to take away from the purpose, right? Because the minute I take that paycheck, I felt like, all right, now I'm chasing the money. I'm not doing God's work anymore. If it's God's work, He'll provide. I don't need that. Money's not gonna. Yes. That money's not gonna make me, break me. And that was my. That was the way I got from point A to point B. That was the way I was able to walk by faith, not by sight. Because the minute I started taking those paychecks, I just felt like it was gonna ruin what I was doing. So I did all it. That philosophy got me 5 awards with PBS. It got me north, south, east, west, Hollywood, Inglewood, Compton. I performed in Kansas City, Austin, Texas, on top of the buildings at South by Southwest with Snoop Dogg and all his people. Nice. With High Times magazine, and it's just all these so many different events and things that I've got to do by sticking to that philosophy and by doing, what I'm supposed to be doing. And trust me, it all wasn't right. I'm human. A lot of times pride takes the front seat, ego takes the front seat, and you got to check yourself. You got to, the thing that always brought me and kept me centered is the day when I realized, I think I said this to you before, because I find myself saying this a lot because it's part of my core values, is to humble yourself before God humbles you. God humbled me by, I thought I was Superman. Ain't nobody can touch me, ain't nobody can beat me, ain't nobody can do the things I can do, or at least not better, you get what I'm saying to you? I'm doing all the craziest things in the world, and it's not crazy to me, it's part of my life, it's just normal. Hindsight, doing 185 miles an hour on the highway is not a normal thing, fist fighting cops because if it's an easy thing to do is not a normal thing, just doing these, jumping, antagonizing cops on my motorcycle. Yeah, right. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, they're like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm on the highway knocking on cops' windows. Taking off. But I don't want to, let me not take that. You understand? I do. I understand. I don't want to get lost in it. But it's just staying humble, staying grounded. Staying humble, staying grounded has been the philosophy, humbling myself because God already humbled me once. I don't want that to happen again. Yeah, I got to give you credit too, because when you said that last time, I took that part and I say it now. I just without even thinking sometimes when I get into conversations about. Oh, that's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah. I say this all that I don't want God to humble me. Yeah. I want to be humble, but I don't want God to humble me. You know what I'm saying? Correct. So I don't know if I say it in the correct term that you do it, but I know you embody it. I embody that, and I was like, I felt like that's such a powerful way to look at your own individual life as well as the environment that you're within, because God humbling us is, we won't forget it. No, that's one thing. You know what I'm saying, and and it reminds us that we must remain humble with each other. And like you said, pride sometimes takes a front seat. Ego sometimes takes a front seat. We have to check ourselves. Sometimes we have to check each other a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, brother, hold each other accountable. Hold each other accountable. Right. And it's never like now when I go into like conversation, if I have a friend or whatever, and they need to be humbled. Put it this way, it's out of love.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean saying that loosely. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, you're kind of out of line, or hey man, why don't you look at it this way? Or hey man, you know, let's figure this out differently. You know what I'm saying? Let's figure out how to do this differently.
This ain't working.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And 9 times out of 10, or I should say 10 times out of 10, because I'm lucky to have good friends that are on that similar path. You know what I'm saying? They're able to let their ego go, and the pride go, and so am I. You know what I'm saying? But we all struggle with it. This is part of the journey too. It's part of the walk. Yeah. But from here, as long as you know that I have to remain as humble as possible, I have to remain humble, but I don't want God to humble me. And I felt that when you said that last time. Still when you say it right now, it's like, yeah, like I don't want God humbling me. You know, I want to be humble with God. You know what I'm saying? That's
yeah.
You know,
I definitely made it part of my DNA because He did. Right.
Yeah,
It just
right.
because it impacted my It's obvious after my motorcycle accident. If you knew me before my accident and you know me now, it's just obvious. And I still talk about it. I'll never stop talking about how do you chop yourself in half, and then it stands. And I'm doing
not only just chop yourself in half and live. You know what I'm saying? Let alone walk.
Right. Yeah, I'm doing myself a disservice by not speaking on it. Right. How many people are out there that go through things and want to give up because of what they're going through, and actually unfortunately end up giving up. Right. Just throw everything this is the worst of the worst. Screw it. I give up. Right. And and I'm not saying I can do it, you can do it, but I did it. Mm-hmm. So what are you waiting for?
Right.
I did it.
Right.
Don't give up. And if you're gonna give up tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You and I both know tomorrow never get here. Yeah. Hopefully God shows up for you because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, or he still believes in you. You still got something good in your heart. You still got something good in your soul. Mm-hmm. God didn't come here to save the righteous.
Right.
He came to save us.
Save the broken.
The broken.
Right.
The ones that are lost, the sinners. If the church is full of all righteous people, then it's not the right church.
Then it's not the church.
It's not the church. Yeah. It's the wrong thing. I'm not trying to be there. When I look outside, when I'm in the audience of Restoration Church, and I look out, and there's people that I know from my former life. They are not angels. Mm-hmm. When I look in that, I know for a fact. I look at some of them individuals that are in that. Yeah, they came from the same streets, from the same nightclubs. Yep. Doing the same things that I was doing back then on their level, whatever their level is, right? Mm-hmm. And it gives me a sense of satisfaction or gratification to know I'm in the right place. Yeah, because they're not perfect and they're in there doing what they can to make their life right. And I'm doing the same thing. So.
I'm glad that you said that too, because I see a lot more people that friends or acquaintances or people that I've known over the years where they wouldn't even utter his name. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't even say God or God, thank God for this, or Jesus that. I'm not saying that they are wrong for that. But the transition of especially the time that we're in, especially the very crucial time that we're in, there's a lot on its way and a lot that's already been shown to us. So I find it beautiful that these same people that I've seen over the years start reaching, because I think a lot of the broken souls who we are amongst and we are a part of are reaching towards that divinity, or reaching towards God for that salvation, right? Because we're in a world of unrestrained evil. Most of it's unrestrained. Right. I mean, it's
at your door.
It's at the door. You know what I'm saying?
It's everywhere you look.
Not only is it just at the door on the outside of this building, or on the outside of our homes, or on the outside of when you watch TV or when you go out somewhere. It's also inside. It's also trying to attack inside. So the battles are on many fronts, and I think people are realizing that this is more of a spiritual war than anything else. And in my heart, I believe that entirely. I mean, the scripture tells us that. So, I think from seeing people in the same place where you probably didn't even see yourself 15, 30 years ago. and you're realizing like, I did all of this stuff in my life. I know these people that did all this stuff in their life, and now you're in a place where they're reaching for that divinity. They're reaching for God. You are in the right place. We are in the right place. And it doesn't have to be a church. It could be amongst the brotherhood of men, or a brotherhood of family, or a brotherhood of a community rather, that knows that God is here. The Holy Spirit is definitely present. It's obvious. And people can say like, oh, well, that's just what you believe. I mean, look, do the reading. If the Bible alone isn't enough, cross-reference some historical facts to know who this Jesus Christ is, because he existed, and he's real, and he's real, and if you want to be more specific, Yeshua HaMashiach, that means Joshua the Messiah, right? Jesus the Messiah. Christ is a Greek word for Savior. It all lines up together. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm ranting right now. But
not at all. Not at all. You're all up in my good soul.
It's in there, man.
It's words that I invite into my life. Mm-hmm. You know, when you get in the presence of a God-fearing man, right, that at least even on a fraction level gets it, right? Even on a fraction level, like, right, there's something greater than me. Yeah. There's grace out there. Mm-hmm. I'm not worthy, but I'm worth it, right? Right. When you're in that presence, it's like getting a hug from God. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like come here, son. Yeah. I got you. Don't worry about nothing. Mm-hmm. You're on the right team. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And you can't ramble in front of me, buddy. Yeah, yeah. You can't ramble in front of me.
I mean, look,
your heart is in the right place.
I appreciate that. Listen. I try to keep it. I try to keep it on that level as much as I can with all the struggles that I deal with internally and externally. None of us are perfect. This walk will never be perfect. But as long as you're on that walk and you're trying to do the work and preach the gospel. I mean, right now we're pretty much preaching the gospel. Right now we're preaching His name because this world needs it. This world is so depleted from Him, and I wanted to mention too is that there was a time where I would be ashamed to kind of talk about God. Right. You know what I'm saying? Not because I didn't believe, but because like it just seemed like everyone else thought it was weird to talk about it. So it's kind of like. And I'm going back like 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. Somewhere along the lines. I've always been a believer, not as strong as I am today within that, especially all of the history that I can cross. Because I'm, like I said in the beginning, I love to read into things. I wanted to mention this too, that when I've done all this research and reading, Emerald Tablets, Epic of Gilgamesh, the Bible, the Hebrew translations, the Aramaic, the Greek translations, the Ethiopian Christian Bible, which is another important part of where Christianity began from. How
about the Ethiopian, the Geneva?
Yeah, Geneva. That's what I meant. Yeah. The Geneva Bible, the Sumerian tablets, and someone could shout out there the Anunnaki. Listen, all of this stuff you cannot write out Jesus in it. Because he existed in all of it, every which way.
Even the Muslims.
Even the Muslims. So here's what I did. This is how I came. I mean, there's a lot of testimony that I came. I'll briefly speak on this part because I'm going to be doing podcasts about my own testimony and how this came to be. Anyway, how I tried to do it was I want to figure out how I can write his name out of it. I could not.
Wow.
That's how I did it, and not to say that I wanted to do it that way.
That.
Not to say that I wanted to. I was like, everyone's saying
it's like the devil's advocate.
Yes. Well, lightly on that. Yeah.
Sorry. But I get it. I get it.
I did it this way, Jay. I did it this way. I tried to because people were like, oh well, man wrote this and blah blah blah, and this is probably a made up story. There's no such thing of a virgin birth or a person that can resurrect. I'm like, okay. Well, let me find out where I can write it out, and I couldn't, and I haven't, and no one has been able to. No. People will say like, oh, the translation, all this stuff, but they cannot say that Jesus didn't exist throughout any of it.
It's crazy,
or God throughout any of it.
The more people dig into the original text is
The closer that they become to it.
Because it becomes more powerful. The word becomes alive. The word is alive.
Yeah.
The word becomes alive in your life.
Right.
So, you're sitting there thinking, I'm reading the book, and you know it's been manipulated or whatever by the Catholic Church or whatever it is.
Yep.
Oh, it's lies. So you try to dismiss it off as lies.
Right.
But the minute you start trying to dismiss it off as lies, and you start actually researching, then things start being opened up to you, and you see, and the bigger picture starts, showing itself. Truly starts showing itself.
You know what I like too, when someone says who can confirm that the Gospels are duly verified, and then I ask him, who can duly verify your birth certificate? You know what I'm saying?
The government.
The government.
The people are blowing me up. I just want to let them know where I'm at.
Holla. Taking photos and selfies up in the podcast studio. Love it. But yeah, man, that's so for me, and that was just recent. Like I've always been on the journey to find and be closer to God. But the aspect of Jesus, the aspect of Yeshua, has always been a difficult one for me because of all of the construed evidence or this translation could be. So that's what I did. I tried to find where I could write him out of it, and you can't. I want anyone that's listening to this, show me where he's written out of it, and you can't. Sumerian tablets, Epic of Gilgamesh, the Gnostic Gospels for one is another fascinating one, which was a removed canonical, the Catholic Church called it heretic because it has esoteric teachings and stuff like that, and he's done a lot more than what's said in the Bible that
Right.
you can cross reference and all that stuff. But you can't write them out. And what I mean by done more is that the teachings that he embodied to teach upon others and the disciples and the followers, man, it's a powerful story.
It
It's not, and it's a real story. It's not like a fairy tale story.
No, because when you dig into it, he's on all the continents talking to the 12 tribes across the four corners of the world.
Amen.
You know what I mean, like it's how, and you can deny it all you want. There's not a greater being, but if you just look at the world for what it is,
Right.
there's evidence everywhere.
Right.
You can't just you can deny all you want because whatever is going on in your life, but
Right.
unfortunately, when that day comes, we're all gonna get to that day.
Right.
When that day comes, I tell you this right now. I've heard it said by somebody. I haven't given it much thought because I'm not. What do they call it? What do they call it when you don't believe in a God?
Atheist.
Atheist.
Right.
Right. So, is it better to be an atheist and not believe anything, and then get there and find out you're all wrong, or live your life right, especially by even at the world standards, living your life right by world standards, not hurting your neighbor, not hurting your brother, all the 10 Commandments, right? That's part of our regular laws anyway. And then showing up to God's step and be like, oh, you are real. I'm, thank goodness I believed in you.
Yeah, right.
Thank goodness I believed in you. Thank goodness the stories were true.
100%. That's a perfect way of looking at it.
Did you see there's something going on online recently, and over I don't know where they're somewhere across the pond. They core drilled over 7 miles into the earth, hit a cavity. They only called it a cavity because it broke open. They don't know how big the cavity was. Once they broke open, they sent a special microphone and devices down, all the way down into the hole. You know what they heard?
No.
Screams and torture is what the microphone, before the microphone, I think it was like 2 minutes or a minute and something said. It was a very short amount of time, right?
Yeah.
They don't got like hours of it, but they got like.
Is this somewhere in the Middle East? Probably.
I don't
like the
I have to
like,
find. I just seen it this past week, and I tell you, because they play a clip of it. The minute you hear the clip, just talking about it, my arm, everything stood up. It was fearful. It was like it's real. Like it sounds like hell. It sounds like they're drilling into hell. You and I both know, because we're believers. Those are not the souls You know, God's got those to rest. They're going to call upon them, day of judgment. That's when all that happens. Those are the demons that have been casted out of heaven, waiting to do their job on Armageddon, you know, to be set loose. That's going to transition me into something I got to tell you right now. There's something that should be trending online right now that's being scrubbed from the internet that happened a couple of days ago. Did you hear about the fight in Miami at the mall?
Yes, I've just recently saw some of that, and there's a lot of weird shit with that. Go ahead on it. Yeah.
So I called my cousin. My laying in bed last night. Let me just first say this. I want to say happy birthday to my beautiful wife. Her birthday's tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
So yesterday Friday, I got to hang out, just me and my wife. You know what I mean? Rebuilding, reconnecting.
Yeah.
We often need this.
Oh yeah.
Her favorite thing to do, without saying too much information, her favorite thing to do is, you know, spend quality time with the two of us, just us. You know. Whether it's in the bedroom, whether it's in the kitchen, whether it's in the living room. It's cold out right now. My bedroom, it's easier. There's no kids in the house. I can turn on I got propane heat. I can turn on all the heat and, you know, save some money, right? So we were in the bedroom, and I answered a couple of things, and then out of habit, flipped open social media, and then first thing I see was over 100 something cops in Miami. Now, Miami is a home away from home for me. When I first got into my motorcycle accident, the first 6 years, I went down to Miami. I went down to Florida, I should say. Miami a lot, but Florida every year for 6 years straight. I would go down there in the wintertime. I'd escape New England, and you know, I'm in a wheelchair. I didn't expect me to roll around in snow, you know what I mean? Right. I'm trying to do rehabilitation. So God willing, he provided. Mind you, I ain't got no real money coming in anymore. I don't live that life anymore. I'm not working really, so you know, how are you able to go down to Miami, or how are you able to go to Florida?
Yeah, to have fun. Yeah, right.
Right. So God provided. I tell you, 6 years straight, God provided.
Yeah.
He provided the transportation, the food, the money, the housing, whatever I needed, God provided, and I followed, right? So Miami became a home with. The minute I see Bayside Mall, I know I've been there a bunch of times. My little cousins hang there to this day. I got family that live in Miami. The minute I see it, I'm like, what? It's like mind-boggling. I'm like, what? It's like, you know, I'm watching the guy's video, and you can hear his girlfriend in the background. What was that? He's like, those are gunshots, right? And so gunshots. Now I'm even more intrigued. What's going on? You know, I'm watching. Then the guy starts explaining what happened. He goes, let me tell you, I was in the mall, like Foot Locker or something like that. It was one of those stores.
I didn't see this.
He said, I hope I don't get no hate back from this. He said, the fattest fat girls were running by me. He's like, the fattest of fat girls were running by me. The oldest old people were running by me. This is a quote
from the actual guy. Yeah,
this is the quote from the guy. It's not me saying it. The oldest of old people are running by me. You know, the minute you see people running for their life, those that would never run are running for their life. You tend to do the same thing.
Yeah, right.
He said he looked. He seen a shadow being, a shadow image, standing about 8 to 10 feet tall. It looked like a shadow, but it was solid. He said it was about 8 to 10 feet tall, and it looked like it would disappear and then reappear, and then disappear and then reappear. I don't know if you people out there in America, or wherever you are in the world right now, listening to the podcast, but there's certain places in this world that you're gonna go to. Texas, Arizona, Florida, Southside Providence, Central Falls. You go to certain places, the people are able to protect themselves with or without the law. I'm just trying to be politically correct when I'm saying this.
Yeah.
So it's like being at Providence Place Mall on a Friday night. What's going on? It was New Year's. It was New Year's Day. This happened.
This case, right?
This thing I'm talking about happened on New Year's. The the things, the entities, whatever they were,
Mm-hmm.
people started shooting at them because they're coming at them, pop, 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 and took off.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Whoever, it's basically in the hood. What's going on? Pop, 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 pop. Everybody takes off, running for their life.
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you what the official report was. Kids were fighting with sticks and fireworks. A bunch of kids, 30 kids or something like that, was fighting with sticks and fireworks, and that's why they had the police presence that they had. When you watch the video, I didn't try counting the cars. You can't count the cars. That's how many cars.
Mm-hmm.
There had to be at least 100 cop cars.
They had the whole city of Miami there.
The whole calling all cars was there. Calling every cop from every area came flying there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what happened? This is the part that said, "What the?" in my brain. They grounded the airplane.
Yeah, I heard about that too. They
Then-
grounded the airport. They shut the airport.
They shut
down
the
or
airport down.
something. Yep.
Then 60,000 people were without electricity. They shut the electricity down.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to be. I've been in melees,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately.
What is it?
a melee?
Okay. Yeah.
I've been in melees because like there was a terminology at the courthouse, the melee, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been in riots. I've been in melees. I've been in giant brawls and street fights.
Mm-hmm.
The worst one I've been in, 5 agencies showed up. Central Falls, Pawtucket, Cumberland, Lincoln, and the state troopers.
Mm-hmm.
The worst one I've been involved, 5 agencies showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Never did they shut down the electricity in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
TF Green wasn't affected.
Mm-hmm.
Neither was Logan. You get what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
and this was at a Portuguese feast. It turned into a humongous brawl, right? People fighting cops and everything, right? Humongous people fighting cops, not each other, but fighting cops,
Mm-hmm.
and that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I say that to say this. I call my cousin. Hey, did you hear about what's going on in Miami?
Mm.
And I got the response that I knew I was going to get because as I'm starting, before I called her, I was researching a tiny bit, just to see what I could find.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really find much, but I found a couple things. And what I got from it, because the lady said it's being scrubbed from the internet, and the official word is that it's a fight with like 30 kids,
Mm-hmm.
sticks, and fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
Which doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Like, how do you hold accountability sending that many cops and making it like it's like a war.
Right.
It's like a war. Like, how do you send that many cops to an
For
incident?
for fireworks and sticks, you know what I'm saying?
It doesn't make sense.
Right.
So I called my cousin and she goes, what are you talking about? That thing that was on the news about the mall? I'm like exactly that thing you just called a thing.
Yeah.
They're doing that on purpose. Like the news of and the minute if I tell you there's a fight at the mall, it's no big deal. It's not on your priority. I need to listen to. Like
Right.
it's just another
Like,
fight.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised,
Yeah,
right? I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
So when I said, cuz, let me tell you what they said. This is what they're saying right now. I said, it's gonna sound like I'm crazy. It's gonna sound like a fictional novel, but I broke it down to her. And I sent her a link. She gets on. Now she's intrigued. Her kids hang at that mall. She starts doing research with me. She starts finding. Now she knows better keywords. She lives there now for 20-something years.
Yep.
She knows the name of the Bayside Mall, right? She knows the name of the neighborhoods, whatever. Dade County. She knows the county, what county they're in, right? She know, and then she remembers certain things that came across the news on her. She's a manager of like Stop and Shop is here.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Publix down there.
Publix, yep.
She's a manager over Publix. She goes, she's been there for a long time, holds a top position and stuff like that. So she watches the news a little bit, but that's about the extent of it. So now when she starts researching, she starts sending me stuff. We're on the phone for like 2 hours talking about this stuff.
Trying to figure this thing out. Yeah, right.
I made a post. Hey, who knows how to stitch things together? After I got off the phone with her, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I ended up coming across, and it dawned on me. A couple of weeks ago, I seen a video of China producing an invisible cloak.
Yep. I saw that too.
Humor me for a minute.
Yep.
So now I start trying to. I'm trying to find the keyword. I can't remember how to find it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to my wife, and all of a sudden I get this image in my head. I'm trying to. I can't. And my wife said, "What are you talking about? What are you talking?" And she's getting a little frustrated. Mind you, it's her birthday weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get her frustrated at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to have a good time with her, not a bad time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, she said, "What are you talking?" I said, "Just give me a minute. I'm like, just give me. I gotta find the right keywords. I'm punching in all the wrong keywords, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I started explaining it to her. She goes, "What are you talking about? Like a Harry Potter invisible cloak thing?"
There you go.
I'm like, "Nah, that's fiction. I don't know what you're talking about." You know what I did? I punched in what she said, and I found.
You found it. Yeah.
Check your emails, Jay.
Yeah. Check your emails, Jay.
So once I punched it in, I found the videos that I was looking for.
Mm.
The first video I found was from 2012 of that invisible cloak.
Yep.
Then the next video I found was a guy talking about we made it, and we cannot even talk about it anymore because it's so serious that it could jeopardize the safety of any country.
Mm-hmm.
You put on this invisible cloak, you can get in and out.
Yeah, it literally bends light. It's real. It's real. It's not.
It's not fake.
What you're talking about is not fake.
Not
Before,
fake.
when I know the video that you're talking about. It was I think it was an Asian dude, Chinese dude. I'm gonna assume.
Yeah. It's in China.
And he was using this thing where it wasn't like perfected. Because you could kind of see a silhouette behind it, but it was just enough. Like if you passed by this guy, you probably wouldn't see him.
Right.
Like if your eyes weren't trained on him. But now the stuff that they got, and I seen further development, dude. It's like, so for instance, you could put one of these screens in front of this cup, but you'll still see the background. You won't see the cup.
That's exactly right.
And then they do this thing where they put their hand in there. You'll see your hand.
Yeah.
It's weird. The technology of whatever this is.
So when you watch the video, right, you can see it looks like a shadow figure.
Oh, there's video of that.
You can see him.
I didn't know there was a video of that.
That's where I got the. So
Okay.
now I go online. I want to.
Oh, you're talking. Okay, I know. Okay,
You see where I'm going now?
So whatever this person saw was likely similar to what this video of this cloaked silhouette thing is.
This is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
Today on the Tru Perspective podcast, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Yep.
But maybe not. This is my brain thinking creatively left field.
Mm-hmm.
Once I witnessed what they were talking about in the live videos, right? Mind you, this is a guy in a timeshare across the street from the mall, way up in one of those big buildings in Miami, overlooking the mall. The mall is one of those open malls. You walk in the things, but the mall itself legitimately, because it's Miami, it's tropical weather all the year round. The mall is outside. It's kind of like going to Rentham Village, but it's set up differently.
Gotcha.
As I'm looking at the shadow figure, that's what it reminded me of. Now, remember what I said? They cut the electricity off. The cloak doesn't run by batteries. It doesn't run by energy. It whatever the material is, it manipulates and bends the light. So the minute you shut, so if the lights are on, it's bending the light. You can't see nothing. You shut the lights off.
Now you see it.
Now you're seeing a shadowy figure, but it's like you're looking through it. It's it's there, but you're looking right through it. Because of the technology of the cloak, and that's the only thing that was popping in my head. So I go online last night real quick. I was like, who knows how to? I didn't know it was a TikTok thing, stitching. TikTok.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to take the videos and stitch them all together.
Stitch them all together, yeah.
Stitch the Chinese videos with the cloaking videos with that, and I wanted to, as I got a couple of awards for my editing skills, right? I want to take, go from the live footage that just happened to the live footage to another example to the live footage.
Do the comparison side by side.
You go back. There was like 5 different examples on the Chinese video, so I got 5 cuts there, which ends up being a nice little video, 2-minute video, if you will.
And this is the second time that I'm hearing too that there was some entity or whatever saw there. I think there was another video similar to the overhead video of all the police cars, where someone was saying that the entities or whatever these things were, whatever people saw, because people were running away, not well, obviously they weren't running towards, but they were running away from whatever this was. Could have been the gunshots that they were running away from also, but also like whoever witnessed whatever this was out on the street. It's not the official story. The official story that with the teenagers with sticks and what else? Fireworks. It's not the it definitely doesn't sound like the official story. But someone was saying that there was something found on the street, like there was something walking around in the street that were tall, were very tall.
That's them things. So so this is what my wife said to me. So Jay, how do you explain that they're 8 to 10 feet tall? No humans 8 to 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
I said no, you're right. And so one of the videos
not
we was watching.
Commonly anyway.
No. So this is my right brain thinking, right? This is my logical brain thinking. My left brain, I believe in God. I know the Nephilim. You know, all this stuff comes in. This is starting to play in my brain. In the end days, what was going on then in the biblical times will be true now, right? So that's what the lady said. What the news has been saying since COVID-19 happened is, Shaka, there's aliens out there, right? Let me take you a little deeper. I don't think it's aliens. I don't think it's the Nephilim. What I truly believe, it's a covert op, whether it's on our, they always practice on your own soil before they go off somewhere else, right? They do these drills.
Yep.
Look at them all the time, everywhere,
to get you acclimated to it. Yeah.
So what I feel that it's some type of an AI robot being programmed by some guy off somewhere else, nice and safe somewhere, controlling that AI rope. Because if you go online and punch up AI robots right now, they can move, play basketball. They can do everything.
They can run.
They can
do
box.
flips.
They can flip.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying to you? So to me, what I think it was 2 AI cloaked devices. Somebody programming, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do, and they ran a test drill over in Miami where they can get away with it, where they think that no one's going to pay attention to. Chalk it up to whatever. It's the hood. Who gives it? It's not my neighborhood. Who cares? I think that's only the first of many to come right now, and they're going to try to blame it on some alien stuff. Or that Blue Beam project.
Project Blue Beam. Yep.
Yeah, right. So
I
that's what I feel.
I think I don't think you're far off at all. I have had kind of a knot in my stomach about artificial intelligence for a while now. On one hand, it has some really good properties medically and all that stuff, but we know man likes to weaponize everything. They weaponize the atom, so
everything. Food, water,
the
clothes.
Yeah,
the Indians got wiped out.
Yes, with smallpox and
because of blankets.
Everything.
Everything can be weaponized.
The thing about this, and I think you're onto something here too, because all of this technology that's been coming out the last couple of years, and especially after COVID, the reveal of these so-called UAPs and UFOs and all that stuff. I mean, I've been fascinated with UFOs forever since I was a kid. Yep. I do think that there's real evidence to it. I do think that someone knows what they are and what they could be, and I don't think they're alien. I think they've been here just as long as we are, if not longer.
Right.
Artificial intelligence is going to play a huge role in this prophetic second coming thing.
That sounds about right.
I believe that the government that's harnessing this technology and trying to map the human mind and all that stuff and transfer the human mind into a machine and all that stuff, they're going to attempt their own version of this, which if you look at scripture, I don't know if it details quite what the so-called Antichrist is supposed to be. I don't know if it's supposed to be a man. I don't know if it's supposed to be a group. But if I had any idea of how man can weaponize artificial intelligence in a machine and make it perfect, make it appear perfect, make it appear quote unquote godly, which it is not, but quote unquote synthetic God thing, whatever that they want to try and build it as, they will use that as a messianic figure, right? If you're following me,
Yeah.
To override what the actual messianic
Being supposed to
being is supposed to be, right? And I do think in a big way that's going to probably turn people who aren't, if you're not following now, that's going to be the thing that gets you. That's going to be, it's just like the mark of the beast. That's sort of what they attempted during COVID. They tried to put everybody on this ID, and then eventually they want to stamp everybody and all that stuff. But people resisted that.
Is it Australia or Austria? One of the two countries over there just went cashless. They're the first country in the world just went cashless.
I think it's
either it's one of the A's.
I think it's Australia.
Australia?
I think it is Australia. Yeah.
And then Russia just made, on the news, Russia just denied the American dollar. To me, Russia just denied all dollars. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But America, with the propaganda, is saying the American dollar is the world dollar.
Yeah.
It's being taken away left and right now. But Russia just said they're no longer accepting the American dollar. They just said it last week, the week before, whenever it was.
Yeah, the petrodollar. Yeah.
So it's happening
It
right
is
now.
happening,
It's
yeah.
happening right now. It's literally happening now in front of us. Secondly, daily, weekly. It's all around us. If you open your eyes, if you're not oblivious and living in your own crazy world,
Yep.
and you're paying attention to what's going on, it's happening everywhere around us right now. It's crazy. But as a believer, you got to find comfort in it. You got to believe. I don't want my kids to be tortured. I lost a child. I want nothing but the good for my family. I moved to where I live now. Peace of mind, peace of heart. I embraced it. I'm not a woods guy. I'm not a lumberjack. I'm not a. I'm a city guy. But I embraced it because my children go outside. For the most part, there's still things that can happen anywhere.
Right.
But for the most part, my kids can go outside and play, and I can breathe a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not worried about some
Kidnapping,
jerk coming up. Yeah. Right.
Shooting,
Right.
random drive-by shooting.
Right.
Happens all the time around here. You know what I mean? It doesn't even get reported 9 times out of 10. So
Yeah.
and that's one of the major. Like I remember the first month living in North Smithfield, and I was driving home, and I realized that I've been living here for 1 month and did not see one cop follow me one time
In North Smithfield.
in North Smithfield. Like the minute I get into Central Falls or Pawtucket, there's a cop parked everywhere, fishing, looking.
Yep.
And you could be 100% straight A student. You still get, especially when you're not life, you still get nervous. Oh
Yeah.
man, because you never know.
Isn't that weird?
That's
That's
crazy.
weird, man. That still happens to me. Even though I know my rights and all that stuff, it's still
Yeah,
it's like
still.
like that there's always one bad apple in the bunch.
There's always,
Trying to test that.
always.
You know what I mean?
I just learned my childhood nemesis. I had a cop that I didn't get along. I'm not giving him any limelight, so I'm not going to say his name. But he works at a local weed facility now. He's a retired cop, and he's this guy in charge of the weed. Right? He's still a cop, but not a cop, right?
Right.
He don't have the power he once had. Friend of mine calls me while they're at the facility and tells me, says the cop's name, and I'm like, "What are you talking?" I said, "She goes, yeah, they work here. They're the enforcement here. They're the head enforcement here." I'm like, "Let me tell you about that guy. He gave me 15 tickets one night, 10 tickets another night. Used to drive like,
Wow.
Man, it was horrible. Like this guy was tortured. He hated me. I couldn't go to the corner store without being messed with and having to be put in handcuffs and sit there and humiliated for an hour, 2 hours sometimes, and then just be let go. And then I drive down the street, then they pull me over. Hey, I forgot something. What'd you forget? Hey, I give you these tickets. Like
What? That's
I'm not even kidding. This is how I learned about internal affairs. I didn't even know what internal affairs was.
Yeah. That definitely sounds like an internal affair issue right there.
I don't think like the average person, right? So one time he's harassing me, gives me a bunch of tickets, lets me go, says the exact words, right? Pulls me over. Right now, the second time he pulls me over, gives me more tickets. I'm driving a 1990 Cougar. This is 94, 5, right? Something like that. Car's fairly new, not, you know. Rear wheel drive. I don't know if you know what a Cougar is. A 1990 Cougar is. It was gray. It was, you know, it was a fly car at that time.
It was a fly car.
It was a fly car at that time, right? So, and had some power. I had one of them had a supercharge. So I punched. Once he did what he did, I punched the guy, peeled up, and he kicked up all the dirt on the side. I was on Broadway, Pawtucket, right here. and I took off, and he jumped in the car. He starts chasing me. I go right down the street, take a right, take a left. I'm at the police station. I jumped out. I said, "You wanna get me? Come get." I'm like, I walked into the police station. I'm challenging everybody at this point. You know, I'm not in my right brain. Right. Sick and tired of this, right? Yeah. Everybody. There's not one person that's in that police station that doesn't know who I am at this point, right? They're like, "What the heck? You know, never seen nothing like this." Here I am running to the police station, challenging. I'm gonna knock him out. I'm tired of this. I wish he would put his hands on me right now. I'm losing it. Yeah. Captain's like, "Calm down." I said, "Calm down. You got his side. You're telling him to freaking harass." He said, "Jay, I don't even know what you're talking about right now." He said, "Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. Go next door Monday morning and file a complaint with Internal Affairs." I said, "What are you talking about?" I don't know. That's how I learned Internal Affairs. Go next door and file a complaint with Internal Affairs. I said, "What are they going to do for me?" He goes, "They're the police for the police." I said, "Oh, so they're supposed to be getting my back?" Yeah. He goes, "That's what they're there for, the police." It's a retired cop that used to be a cop that is here. I said, "You're lying to me. He ain't gonna get my back. He's only gonna make sure that you guys don't get in trouble." Right. The guy got my back. I promise you that. He actually, at the time, I don't know who the Internal Affairs cop is now in Pawtucket. Yeah. He took his position. He ran with it. He took his position, took every ticket, got rid of him. I didn't have to pay one of those tickets. Good. Told that officer that he wasn't allowed to pull me over anymore by himself. That if he sees me out there doing something wrong, that he actually has to stay in the car away from me, and other people have to come and present and come up to me, that he's not allowed ever to come interact with you. Ever again. Yep. Well, all cops get each other's backs. So that although he was a good gesture, now he got his buddies harassing me, right? Yeah, there you go. I ended up catching him. Fast forward a couple months later, I ended up catching him at Dave and Buster's. Dave and Buster's was brand new at the time. I ended up catching him at Dave and Buster's. I'm with a good friend of mine. He was with his girlfriend, and I didn't know he was there. You know, you're walking around Dave and Buster's, you're playing video games. It's a brand new facility. Yeah, I might have been in there 1 or 2 times at this time. Brand new facility to me. So
he just happens to be there.
Just happens to be there with his girlfriend. Yeah, it's like this. I'm walking, I turn around, boom, and he's right in front of me. Wow. I reached, I grabbed him. No way. I went straight like from 0 to 100. My friend Mark was with me at the time. Mark Lynch, which is his birthday. It's his birthday right now. Too. Matter of fact, happy birthday, Mark. Happy birthday. Oh man. So he's with me, and now he's a ride or die type of guy. He don't need a reason. He don't need a reason to get my back, but he knows that's a Pawtucket cop, and he's in my ear. Jay, just let it go. You know, just let it go. Let it slide. Yeah. I said, "Nah, Mark." And now I'm talking to Mark while he's in my face, and I'm like this. The girlfriend is crapping herself, right? She's frozen. Yeah. She can't move. She don't scream. She don't yell. She's frozen. With, that wasn't my intent for her, but that's the product of his decisions, not mine. You get what I'm saying to you? Right. She froze with fear. Mind you, Tim, at that time, I was a big dude. You know what I mean? I'm small now. You see how Todd walks around? Yeah. That was always me. Yeah. You guys. Always. I lived in the gym. I treated my body right. Never did steroids. Never did drugs. Like, my body was a temple, right? That was always me in a phenomenal shape. He's trying to talk reason into me. It's a federal offense to beat up a cop, to torture a cop like that. I was like, I said, you're a civilian just like me right now. This ain't Pawtucket. This is Providence. He's trying to talk reason with me because he's trying to save his skin, and So at that point, Mark's like, "Jay, you obviously intimidated him. You obviously, look at him. He's a coward in front of his own girl. He ain't talking and treating you like he was. I say, if you ever come in my presence again, I don't care what it is. I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna be so lucky, right? And at this time, I already got charges for beating up cops. It's nothing to me. I didn't throw a chair at a judge yet, but I did throw a chair at a judge before. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
If you're opposing your will and it's against me, and it's unlawfully against me, I don't care if you think you got the right or not. I'm not that guy. I'm not a bully. I'm a bully's bully. You can't come bullying me. So at that point, that was the last time. If we cross paths again, I didn't know he was in front of me. When I seen him, he looked right past me, and there was never another
Interaction again.
and like from him.
Right.
But I know he was one of my biggest haters when I first changed my life. So now we're behind the scenes. People in the city were believing in me. They're the ones hiring me now. I had a remember DARE, not direct action rights and quality. I forgot what the DARE stand for, but DARE.
Yeah.
The drug,
Alcohol. No,
I don't remember. So you know what I'm talking
I know
about.
it. Yeah, because they had the programs when I was growing up in the school.
Right. So that cop, the DARE officer, his name's, is it Gary?
I remember one of them. His first name was, or maybe that was his last name. It was Officer Pat. I remember him.
I can't.
But I know that there were a couple. Like he wasn't the only one.
Well, this one was the main one, right? He's the guy who writes the grants, gets the money,
Gotcha. Okay.
goes into all the schools.
Roger that.
Offers me $5,000. Remember I told you a lot of money came my way when I first became a professional poet.
Yeah.
Not a lot, like not life changing, but work money.
Right.
He offered me $5,000, and I tell you, it intimidated me. At that point, legally, I never was handed $5,000 before. It intimidated me, right? For the poetry, for the teaching, for you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Jay, I got $5,000 for you. I need a DVD. I need this program. Put it together. And I'm like, what? You got $5,000 from me? Like it blew my mind. I didn't believe him. It was like, what are you talking about? No. You ain't paying me for this. Nah, here you go. I didn't accept the money. So he told me that the guy was bad mouthing me. The mayor's team that work for the people that work for the mayor that put the program together, that hired me to come do the programs and the poetry slams and things of that nature. They confided in me personally. Hey Jay, there's people that don't believe in you. They say A, B, C, or D. We don't believe it. We're working with you. We got your back 100%. I just want to give you a heads up that this is what they're saying. So now he went from like being in my face to just trying to undermine the work.
Right.
And
trying to stop what you're doing. Right.
He couldn't. May ended up becoming one of my, good. May calls me. Hey Jay, what are you doing with school for lunch?
Yeah. That's so.
I come from a different world now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hey, you want to go for lunch? You know what I mean? Hey, schedule my secretary. I want, it's my treat. Won't even let me pay. My treat. Nah, I'm paying this time. Nah, Jay, you can't pay. It's my treat. That's what he tells me.
That's dope.
So, I forgot where I was even saying.
Well, you were talking about this guy, this officer who ran a weed dispensary.
Oh yeah. Oh, but we were talking about nemesis for some reason. I forgot.
Yeah, that was your nemesis.
Yeah. So I completely. Oh, we were saying about driving in places like Central Falls, talking to cops out there fishing, stalking.
Yeah.
And it's a proof in like Rhode Island, the state troopers, the people. What was it? The legal search and seizures. What do they called it? I forgot what it was called.
Stop and frisk.
Stop and frisk.
Yeah.
So that's just known. That was their practice.
That was before it came an actual policy. They just did it.
They just did it. Yeah, they just did it. Then it became policy. And now
I think
they're not supposed to be doing it anymore.
I don't think it's a policy anymore. I think it got abolished. But
no, they don't have to. Now they have. Now you. Oh, your seatbelt wasn't on.
Yeah. Now they got that. Now we can pull you over.
They can pull you over anything. Now. Anything.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see the seatbelt on.
New York was very notorious for the stop and frisk,
right.
And I think Mayor Giuliani, I think was the one that
implicated
it, and then somebody else I think took it off. I think I might be wrong about that, but
no, I that was
But again, it was it was in the cities and shit.
Right,
you know
right,
what I
right.
mean?
2012, 2013. I remember seeing it a lot.
Yeah, they were just stopping.
Yeah, I had a friend that was a New York cop, and I would ask her, personal questions like that, like, and she would confide in me, because I make jokes all the time.
Yeah.
I'll protect you more than all those cops over there will, right? I'm real, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm just gonna, I say it the way it is. So we get into personal conversation like that, but yeah. I forgot. Oh, so there was another thing on something. Oh, Cat Williams.
Cat Williams, yeah.
Viral information right now. Cat Williams outing out the industry. A lot of people are quote unquote woke right now. People are getting exposed left and right.
P. Diddy.
What's done in the dock will be brought to the light, right? Jay-Z, P. Diddy, T.D.J., the pastor.
The pastor, yeah.
Which I'm not 100%. I mean, I gotta, I seen some stuff on TDJ. I didn't get to see it, but I don't think he's one of those child pedophiles.
I don't know if he's that, but because he's come out as gay.
Oh, is he gay?
I think so. Yeah, I think.
Oh, so that's what it is.
I think that's what a lot of that controversy was.
Oh, so that's what it is. That's 100% what it is, and that makes complete sense of why they got he's in the mix of that.
And also because he's also he runs with P. Diddy.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And P. Diddy has a lot of things going on because
he got,
50 Cent's
he ain't the only one.
No, for sure he's not the only one. But
because he gets $1 million checks. He's one of those mega churches.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because I remember listening. It's crazy because I remember listening to him over the years and getting things from him, right? But I never was a follower of his. I mean, I'd get he was spiritual motivation from him, but
he's more of the celebrity type of pastor, which I mean, that's like I hold people like that like a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't trust them as far as you throw them. Yeah, and then everything
even
else.
Celebrities need a pastor, though. I'll tell you.
Sure, of course. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It was just that like a lot of the stuff that he's connected to, it's like, okay, it makes sense that now people are kind of outraged about it.
I liked what Cat Williams said. He said that it's their job once they get inducted into this life, it's their job to make you believe that they're not inducted to this life. They're there for the entertainment purposes. I watched. I don't know about when you watched. Did you watch that interview?
I watched some of it. I heard some of the stuff. I heard the part where he was talking about, I think, Martin, and something about him.
That's his boy.
Yeah, and something about him. I didn't want to wear a dress or something like that.
Right.
And
yeah, he was. So the way Cat Williams was telling it, he was supposed to be Will Smith.
Right.
That movie was supposed to be the two of them.
Bad Boys, right?
Bad Boys.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And after he let Martin left, came back. Now he's instead of giving him Bad Boys, he's giving him Big Mama's House #2, and he wants Cat Williams to wear a dress.
Yeah.
So Martin had all intentions. He's not gonna say it. You got to believe. If I tell you I'm gonna do A, B, C, or D, we've created a bond over these years now. If I say A, B, C, or D, you got to believe. You should be able to believe it. At this point, there's no reason why you wouldn't believe that comes out of my mouth.
Right.
I never told you anything to make you believe otherwise. But then I show up, and then I show up.
It's like, hey, wear this dress for.
Hey, wear this dress. Wear this dress for podcast. You didn't check your emails.
Yeah, did you check your emails?
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like. We all got our own perspective, right?
Yeah.
Look at the podcast. We all got our own perspective, right? And in anything, you got your perspective, this perspective, and then the outside looking in, right? You got to believe that Cat Williams telling the truth right now, though.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's getting exposed. If they can expose Cat Williams, they would have. They already said that he was like quote unquote crazy or whatever the things were they're trying to say, and now they try to destroy his character, because he's short or because he was homeless, whatever it is. But the guy he's got to be top 3, top 5.
Yeah, he's a genius
comedians of all time.
He's up there with Dave Chappelle.
He's my favorite comedian. Dave Chappelle's there with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's Eddie Murphy,
Mm-hmm.
Richard Pryor, Cat
Oh, yeah.
Williams, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Cat Williams, and Dave Chappelle. Those are my. Bill Cosby used to be right. I like his. I like how the cleanness that he could bring. Like you can make you laugh without using the swears, without using the stereotypical stuff. I like that about Bill Cosby, but the minute all that stuff starts coming out about him and some of it's actually true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got they all can. I mean, they wait so many years to take the man under. You got to believe 90% of those women wanted to get. Yeah,
Right.
Here it is again. I might get in trouble for this.
Yeah,
Right?
I know.
You know, at that time it was acceptable, but then they felt some type of way later on. You know, their conscience got to them. Now they're living life right, and now they just want to pass the buck. Oh, it's like, hey, let's go rob a bank.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go rob the bank with me, but then later on you change your life. It was like, it wasn't my idea, it was Jay's.
Yep. And
You know
throw
what I mean?
you under the bus.
Throw
Yeah,
me under
right,
the bus,
right,
like you wasn't there too.
And I think some of these women probably could have been offered money in order to come out with those
Of
stories.
course, of
30,
course.
what is it, 30, 35 plus years later, you know what I'm saying? So,
If they want to take you out, they're going to take you out.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what point I'm trying to make.
And I'm not defending Bill Cosby because I think some of the stuff that I read, I was like, that sounds like he was doing something. But he was also trying to get involved with NBC. He was trying to buy it off. I think he was trying to buy it out.
And that's probably why they exposed them.
Yeah, I think he was trying to buy it out. I think he was going to go a different route with it. And
makes sense.
whoever that's up there wasn't feeling that. And if you don't play ball with them,
You're not
that's
going.
what happens. You end up like Weinstein. You end up like Cosby.
Right.
Weinstein has a huge history. I mean, he was involved with Hollywood trying to.
He was Hollywood.
He was Hollywood. Yeah, he was Hollywood.
He was the end all be all of Hollywood.
Yeah, and he got thrown
To the wolves.
25 years, I think they gave him or something like that.
So many people complained on him, and it just always got covered up.
Yep.
You hear all the monster stories,
Yep.
never knowing it was that guy right there. Like from our perspective, anyway, because we're not in that world, right?
Right.
So yeah,
And I think he wasn't playing ball with something, and that's what got him into where he is. So.
have you got to see the list yet from the island?
No, but I heard that. So I saw that Stephen Hawking is a part of this list, which
What?
yeah, that's what I quickly read it. I'm gonna say that I quickly read some things. I have not dived into the article, but not all the names have been released. And then they said something about Bill Clinton. I'm not surprised about that. Bill Clinton has a long history of rape charges and all that stuff.
Wow, yeah. I didn't know that.
He's also behind look up Bill Clinton, Arkansas. There's two guys that got killed that they think that the reason why they got killed was because they likely witnessed one of Bill Clinton's small single engine airplanes being filled with cocaine.
Oh wow.
Look up Bill. Anyone that's out there, and whenever you have time, look up Bill Clinton, Arkansas, and that story will come up. And it's a weird story. It's actually a creepy story.
My wife, I remember when that stuff, COVID-19, right?
Yeah.
Put yourself a couple years ago. It's crazy how fast time goes by, right? So put yourself back a couple years ago. I remember every month there was like a crazy story happening, right? Like UFOs, Kobe Bryant, COVID-19, right? Or every month it just kept month after month. It was like the world's biggest news, and it just kept getting topped out. One of them was the pizza.
Pizzagate.
The pizza. And here's my wife trying to explain it to me. I don't watch the news. If it doesn't come across my news feed, most likely I'm not going to know about it. I'm oblivious to what's going on in the world for the most part these days. I don't listen to radio really that much anymore. I don't watch television, network television like that. If I decide to watch something that's on a network television, it's through Hulu, right? You know, something that's how whatever extracurricular activities for that's how I get my information sometimes. Yeah. And then like if you post something, my mom posts something, somebody posts something, then I'll be able to get to see it. But here's my wife trying to explain to me Pizzagate. Jay, they got the Pizzagate. They're raping kids and ordering kids through the pizza parlor. I'm like, what do you watch? What do you even? That's crazy. That's not real. That can't be real. Right, here I am. That can't be real, right? It didn't make the way she's trying to explain it to me made no sense whatsoever. I don't know. It was like 2 weeks later. everything she said was real.
Yep.
Like 2 weeks later, it's all over national
Emails,
everywhere you can see it.
all these code word things
words,
that were
right.
coming out. Podesta, I believe, was he was I want to say he was a senator or he was somebody. Podesta, he gets I think he had sent so he sent a dick pic to this young girl. I think she was 15 years old or something like that.
Wow.
And that's what got him caught up, and he did a little bit of time. He recently came out. You can watch this podcast with him being interviewed by Pat David, PBD podcast. I don't know if you're familiar. Valuetainment, ever heard?
Maybe. No.
If anyone, this one because I like his podcast because he drilled the guest. I mean, but also Podesta set himself up in the conversation where he was trying to deny the facts that were actually already out, and he was trying to. It's a good interview, but yeah. So all of these guys, I don't know how far that the actual, because supposedly this is all done in some back room of this pizza shop. I didn't see if that particular information was correct, although I'm not surprised if it would be, because I know a lot of these things are front stores and all that stuff that are doing this ungodly things behind closed doors. But the emails were important because a lot of those code words and information, and also there's also these social media posts that have like very like questionable using these code words, saying like hot dogs and pizza, and these are all code words for kids. For them, you know, I want a full pizza or something like that, or I want a hot dog, and whatever that means is like that they're ordering children. They're not actually ordering hot dogs and pizza. These people have millions of dollars, not all ordering hot dogs and pizza. Not saying that if you got millions of dollars, you're not going to enjoy a hot dog or a pizza or whatever. But it's the way how the sentences and way how the conversations were going. So, but that all came out. Fox News, CNN even reported on it.
Yeah,
so
that was crazy.
And then independent news ended up reporting on it. So I think some part of it, there may have been some misleading information on one hand, but you got all these people that are lined up with it. Podesta was one of the main characters, one of the main guys, political figures that was involved in this, directly involved in it, and he ended up having this little mini relationship with allegedly a 15-year-old, well, not allegedly because he got charged for it, with a 15-year-old girl sending a nude picture to her, and
Crazy.
yeah, and
It's disgusting
it
too.
is, it's gross, man.
So, insight into my life.
Yeah.
When I first went to jail as an adult,
Mm-hmm.
young, athletic, thick-headed,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you're in jail, at least then, right? I don't know how it is now. When you're in jail, the cops, when a child diddler comes through the block, right? Cops don't like it either. There's the whole reason why they got to become a cop and not a criminal, right?
No.
To put away bad guys and things of that nature, scum of the earth, whatever. People like me that are influential, like can be influenced. Here I am, 18 years old, in the ACI.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, kid, you want an extra cheeseburger? Knock this guy out. He's a child molester.
Mm.
Don't worry about nothing. You will not get in trouble. I'm going to pop the door. You go in there, beat the daylights out of him, shut the door when you leave, and I'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. Extra rec time, whatever. You become the first time I'm in jail, I'm beating on child diddlers because of a couple of cops that did not like child dealers. There was one 2 doors down from me. You know, you could tell what type of person I am. You know, and from that point on, I was that type of guy. It was me and another kid when running in that room, beat the daylights up, beat the brakes off of him.
Diddler hunting.
Oh my! It beat him so bad and he went folded and went under the bunk. I don't know if you've ever been incarcerated before, but the metal bunks went right on the bunk, and that's how he was trying to, save himself.
Mm-hmm.
We beat him pretty bad, walked out, shut the door, just like we told, went off the chow. This guy never left the room. Everybody leaves, the whole block is empty. We come back from chow, the doors get popped open. Now how you gonna blame it's me? I wasn't there. You get what I'm saying to you?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that we used to do was behind the stairs. There's camera don't got the stairs. Back then the camera, there was dead spots all over the prison. I don't know if there are anymore now. Back then there was dead spots all over prison. One of them was behind the stairs. Minute you get someone going behind the stairs when you go to chow, you get them, drop them, come up right behind them, drop them, beat them up, and just keep going, and the cops will take care of it later. They did not let. I have a friend. I'm not gonna mention his name. I have a very close friend that used to be a CO, Italian guy. He lost his job because of a guy who just trying to say what, the eyes will water up. Like my voice starts stuttering. So he put his hands on a 1.5-year-old kid, right? My eyes, it's still to this day.
Yeah.
I can hear him telling me the story as I'm trying to repeat it to you. He says, Jay, what do you want me to do? I said, I couldn't take it. He says, I got him in the elevator. The minute he was in the elevator, he's like, I tried to kill him. He beat him to death, almost to death in the prison. He's an ACI guard.
And he was a guard.
But he said, I was good with it, Jay. I didn't even want to work there anymore after that. He said, I just couldn't do it no more. I couldn't be sick. He said the guy was smiling, laughing, getting all the best everything, because he's in protective custody. He has to he has to walk from point A to point B like he's a celebrity in there, right? And he said, I could not take it anymore. And he beat the brakes off of him, and he ended up losing his job. Let me tell you something though. If you're an ACI guard and you end up in prison, life is not going to be good for you. But when you're this guy, right, everybody respects you, right? And he's not a little guy. He's taller than me. He's a monster of a guy. He ended up getting locked up in there. Everybody loved him. He was there for a very short period of time and went on to life and became a car dealership guy. And and I still talk to him. I still talk to the guy. He's like an uncle to me. He's like a big cousin to me. But he confided in, pictured that life, man. Pictured just.
I've always wondered, like, what.
Oh my God.
What some of those guys go through being a guard, especially, and you're hearing some of these stories of some of these guys coming in, especially ones that have dealt with, like, done some heinous things to children, and it's like, dude, there's times where I come across a story, I can't even finish the fucking story.
No, you can't.
It's part of my language.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't even try saying it. I couldn't even try saying it right now.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And here's the thing that I battle with now, with being on this walk too, because now, humbleness, and there's this word, forgiveness, right?
Right.
And I struggle with that part when it comes to that sort of thing.
99% of the world's going to.
Yeah.
So not that I'm sticking up for them.
Yeah.
In any way, because
me neither.
I'm human.
Yep.
But they say a great amount of them, the reason why they do those type of things, because that in fact happened to them growing up, right?
Yeah.
Something terrible happened to them.
Yep.
And that's them thinking it's okay for them to do it for whatever reason. So recently, one of my pastors that goes to that church, Mike Caparelli, who actually was in the served time in the training school, a year after me, he was in there, just wrote a book, Monster Mirror. I think I want to say.
Oh yeah,
Monster
yeah.
Mirror.
I watched him. I watched that. Yep.
He is the son of Sam.
Yep.
The notorious guy who tortured the police and burnt buildings and killed people.
Yeah.
Gave his life to Christ. So by no means, he said, I heard him say it out of his own mouth with his own words. I don't remember exactly how he said it, but he said, by no means does he think this man should be set free because the families and stuff that he's caused, the pain that he's caused.
Right.
But he believes in forgiveness for this man because he's walking the walk and he's talking the talk. And it's not just something, he doesn't ever think he's going to get out. It's not something that that he's doing, just to say, like, hey, look at me, I'm a God-fearing man now, let me out, forgive me of all my sins. That being said, if, you molest a child, you're doing something wrong, you got to pay for your mistakes. So it's not my job to forgive you. It's God's job. It's my job to speak life into His words.
Yeah.
You know, live my life righteously.
Yeah.
Not judge people, not condemn people. And when I fall short of the glory, you know, be accountable for my actions, and that's
Right.
it. You know, so if I happen to stumble across a child dealer on the wrong day, and the wrong thing ends up happening, I can find faith and solitude in my Lord, you know, and I can ask for forgiveness also.
Right. I mean, I think I agree with you. I think I would be able to have that conversation. Be like, look,
I'm human, Lord.
I'm human, Lord, and
It bothered me. I'm sorry.
and the weight of the bother was too much.
Too much.
Yeah. And yeah, that's one thing. Don't fuck with kids, and
Yeah, I'm
just don't do that.
when I first went on this journey, actually, like a couple years in, I just got my television show, The Bucket of Joe.
Yeah.
I just got The Bucket of Joe, and a family that's my mom and their moms were friends before I was friends with this family, right? My mom and her mom was friends. They come from the same neighborhood, Pawtucket, their whole life. So the grandbaby was beaten almost to death at like 6 months old by the father. Kid started crying. Father smacked the baby, and then almost killed him. Beat the baby up because the baby wouldn't stop crying for no reason. That's what he ended up confessing or whatever it is. I remember sitting this close to him. Mind you, at this time I'm just starting my walk. I just made.
And this is an interview.
This is not an interview.
Okay, so you just
the interview came a couple hours after.
Gotcha.
With the mother.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because the mother, who I watched grow up since she was a baby herself. Like I said, I know the whole family. Janelle Mox is the baby's name. If you want, Google search it. It made national news.
Janelle.
Yeah, Janelle Mox is the last name. So. Oh no, Janae Mox.
Janae.
Yeah, Janae Mox. It's Janae Mox. You'll see it. As soon as you punch it in, you know.
I'll find it.
So it'll come up. It was it made national news.
So you're sitting across the father.
No, I'm sitting behind the father.
Oh, you're sitting behind him.
And then you get the judge in front. I'm in the closest seat to where he's sitting. I didn't see any remorse, any fucks given, anything, and I felt like
this baby died, right?
No, he got brain damage now. He's all messed up still to this day, but he's alive. He's living a good life, the best life he could have under the circumstances, but he got brain damage. He wasn't born messed up whatsoever.
Right.
He's messed up now. He still has residual problems. But I felt my whole body start shaking. So, the sweat started pouring down my brow. I don't remember who was sitting on the side of me. Nobody will fault you if you do it, Jay. Nobody will fault you to do it. I know the sheriff's right there, and they're watching me. I stood up. I felt everything in my body, my whole brain played the whole thing out. I was gonna lunge out, jump over, strangle him to death. He's done. That's it. He's done. I'm this close. Mind you, I just changed my life. I made a pact with God. I'm not gonna punch nobody no more. The grandmother comes, sits right on the side of me. She goes, I want him dead too. I don't know. Everyone, I'm not saying I'm anything special, but when I'm in a building, people tend to pay attention for whatever reason. That's the best way I can put it, humbly, right? For whatever reason. All eyes were on me at this point. The grandmother sat on the side of me, right? But let God do his work. That's what I end up hearing. Let God do his work. They gave him 10 years or something like that. Nothing. They gave him nothing. No time, like 10 years ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? You just damn near you killed your kid. You every chance of living any type of normal life. So we go outside. National news is there. All the big stations are there. Boston, all these. The only person the mother was going to talk to is me. So as they're trying to ask her questions, here I am interviewing her, myself, and I tell you right now, Tru, it was a humbling experience to know that I changed my life. It wasn't my position anymore to wreak havoc and get revenge. You know, my job was to capture the family story, the grief, and what's going on. And back then, it wasn't even called viral. That was probably one of the biggest stories I've ever did to this day. And I've done stuff that's got 15, 20,000 views, right? It's one of the biggest stories I've ever covered to this date right now. And I've been involved in a lot of things. I've watched a lot of things. You know, I've been on CNN and, you know, nightly news. And, you know, I mean, I've been involved in a lot of things. That's still, to this day, it's heartbreaking. Every now and again, I see the family all the time. I was just with the grandmother not that long ago. I was just with the family not that long ago. We all went out to eat for another close friend of mine who passed away on his birthday 1 year ago last year in November. It was his birthday. His anniversary just came up, so we all went out to eat in November at Dragon Villa. But I was just with the family. The family's doing well. They're still taking care of the child, and they've moved on, and that kid is home right now. You know what I mean? That kid is home. So I don't know what he's doing with his life. I don't know what he's, you know what I mean? I'm sitting here thinking about it. I want to Google search and check and go have a conversation with
I hear you.
But here I am, the forgiveness, right? Just let God handle it.
You know,
God take his stuff.
You know, this walk, what I've learned too, and I'm sure you've learned this also, is that the walk is probably the hardest walk to have. Because here we are doing our best to be on the right side of history, the right side of spirit, the right side of God, and we still have to stare the devil in its face.
Oh yeah.
And you being feet away from
it was tough.
Someone that's done something that shouldn't have happened.
Right.
No father should do that to their no parent, no I mean, first of all, no one should be doing anything like that to a child, let alone anybody, let alone a person. But that right there was a testament of your. It's odd on how it's not always clear sometimes of how God talks to us, right?
Right.
Because we only have the capacity to understand through signs, through other people talking to us, through other means of situations that we're involved in, and that's how I think, at least for me. And sometimes you do hear the voice. You definitely strongly hear the voice. I have certainly. I'm sure many have. But being feet across from someone that's done something heinous to a child and having the restraint, but not only the restraint, but also having, you know, grandmother coming here and say, hey, I want this person gone, just gone also. But allow God to do his will, because God says vengeance is mine.
Yeah.
Right? Vengeance is his.
You got that.
So, being in this earthly form, it's hard to stare the devil in the face and not act upon it. Well, I can't say that not all the time that the devil shouldn't be confronted. The evil shouldn't be confronted, or you know, we're fathers, we protect our families, we protect our women, we protect our community, we protect each other. That's what we're here to do. And in hindsight, also preaching that good word, preaching that gospel, making sure that, you know, people know the name. And know the truth. But there are some circumstances that aren't like that. That's him?
Yeah. I was trying to see if I could find the story about him.
There are some circumstances that we are led in that sometimes we do have to allow God to play it out. And not all the time it means that the vengeance is ours. But if but at the same time, someone's running through your door and they're trying to hurt your family, well, you got to do what you got to do, and I think that could be justified. But
this is July 7th right here. That's a current picture of him right there. You can see it right in the picture.
Yeah.
Look at his eyes.
Yeah.
You can see it right in the picture. That's a current picture of him right there.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
Well, you know what? The thing is, you know, God has something in store for him too. You know, many blessings upon him, and may he be kept. But
yeah, it was
that is a sad story, though. I mean, it's an unfortunate story that occurred, and I can only imagine what that felt like, being in the presence of that, and then being able, and then having the emotional capacity to do the interview after.
John A. What
John
was I
A.
saying? Yeah, I was saying his name wrong.
You said
Janelle.
Janelle. You said Janelle
Yeah,
first.
I'm wrong. It's John A. I
John
was just
A?
reading it,
Okay.
but I'm just
John
it's
A.
wrong. I think I'm probably still chopping his name up wrong. My dyslexia.
But you know, I want to leave this on a good note here. Is that the walk is the hardest walk, I think it has been for all of us, because of the things that you know, the things that we experience, the humbling that God gives us, that God sends to us, and but allowing that opportunity to not become the monster that once was, right?
Right.
And actually allowing that transition to happen, instead of saying, why God, you know, why me? And I'm sure we've all been there. I'm sure sometimes I still do it sometimes, like, but it's not the why. It's the why isn't why is it happening to me, but why not it happening to me, or why not it happening to someone, and allowing that to propel you forward and not become the detriment, rather than becoming the light. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I see and walk with this, and try to have conversations like this. Dude, any time that you come in here, or that we come across each other, I feel that light of you, man, and I hope you feel the same light that comes across to you. It's a humbling thing. It's a very welcoming energy, because we're not alone. You know, there's people like us that are not alone in this walk, and and that brotherhood. I mean, that community, steadfast. Shout outs to Steadfast Men. Shout outs to, you know, the Res. Shout outs to everyone that is even out there in the interwebs. You know, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, he is the way. He is the truth, the way, and the light, and the life. Yeah, the Holy Spirit speaks. Yahweh. The Holy Spirit speaks. You know, it's this is good, man. I appreciate the fact that you came in here once again, and you know you're more than welcome to come in here anytime, brother.
I love coming
You're more than welcome to come in here anytime, man. Because like I like being on these topics. I like watching you know, the great stuff that you're doing out there with HULU. Oh, let's talk about the album a little bit before we go.
Awesome. I love to.
Let's end it with that one. Yeah.
So I'm gonna have a listening party next. So I'm locking it down right now. I'm trying to pick the right venue. At least, you know, silence myself so I know I'm picking the right venue from God. Right. Needle and Thread is on the venue. Is on the list. Jail Dane is on the list. Even Legendary Boxing, a venue that you wouldn't particularly find to have a listening party, is on the list. With JP the DJ is going to be my DJ to help me make this into a showmanship on top of a listening party. I want to put a show on with it, you know, at the same exact time. Some, you know, add that entertainment value. You know, bring the, you know, good content, the spiritual uplifting, the healing, and just tie it all into a nice presentation. Give you something memorable to take home instead of the, you know, the mundane garbage that you're used to these days. The album is called Ride With Me, Catalog 12.
Ride With Me, Catalog.
So how I got to that, and I've had so many titles. I thought the album was going to be called, right? So many titles. The Beating of Myself was you know, that was an actual title.
The Beating of Myself.
The Beating of Myself, right? All the torture I put myself in. this was a learning process. The title chose itself. The title really chose itself. The music that I'm making, it's not for the club, right? It's not for the party scene. It's not for like, for the most part, there's like there's songs in there that you can listen. I Need You, Jamelia Barrows, J9, Mr. Orange Live, DeMont Combs. There's a track called I Need You. That's a great wedding song, right? So you can hear it on a dance floor, right? There's stuff there that you can hear in venues, places, but truly it's thought-provoking. It's uplifting. It's there to remind you you have a spirit inside you, that you have a soul inside you, and what you're saying matters. And ultimately, it's there for healing. There's such a healing factor in this album, you know, that was like popping out. Once I've what year was it that we made Warriors?
2013, I think. 2013, 2014.
Never have I published it. Never have I published it. Never. Like so many times, I want to finish the video, and I have such a movie presentation for the. It's going to be a mini short, a short. What do they call them?
Short film.
Short film. The song itself is going to be when you listen to the track that we made, it plays like a movie.
It does.
I remember, you know,
there's a breakdown.
When I sent it to you, it's like, Jay, it's a little, you know, it's a little confused. I'm not quite sure where it's going. The minute we put it together, he was like, man, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, I really, really get it. And this is what you said to me, and it felt good, you know, because you went in blind faith on that track.
Yeah, I know, I did.
Jay's a good guy. I don't know what he's doing, but let's just do it.
Yeah.
So that never got, so I have this tracks on this album, right? So what I did was that track, Warriors got moved to album 3. I have 36. I went through 4 hours of music, 4 hours of poetry, over 30. I nailed it down to 36 tracks. I got 40 something tracks, right? Some were just didn't make the cut whatsoever. So I got 30. I picked 36 tracks, and then out of that 36 tracks, I you know, it took me about a month. I started, all right, what's going to be the first album? I started. This is definitely the first album. This is the second album. This is the third album. So what I'm going to do is catalog 12 is the first album. The second album is going to be titled the number 3 because you got 1, 2 for 12, and then 3. I don't want to go too crazy with the philosophy behind it all, but it started developing itself. It started really, like, when you look at the body of music in its entirety, these group of songs belong together and they tell a story. These group of poems belong together and tell a story. Then these group of poems belong together and tell a story. And I'm hoping that it's obvious it comes across to me that way. So far, the people that have been involved, they're 100% on board. I did a sneak preview of the other day. I was excited. I had I got off the phone with the DJ. I got this, and I was like, I'm gonna have a listen to the party, and I'm anxious. I'm like, forget it. Let's just use the live. And I go live, and my wife thinks I'm going crazy. She's like, what are you doing? Stop. Don't go live on stuff like that.
You're leaking the album.
So
sometimes a little bit of leak feeds a little bit of that fruit to draw people in. So I mean that's.
And I did. It actually did that. So the video from a couple of days ago got over 1,000 views.
Wow, nice.
It's a lot. It's a live. You know, it got 1,000 views already for a live. That's not bad. You know what I mean? Like it was 24 minutes long, right? So I was on there from 12:12. Strategically went on 12:12. And I got off at 12:36, right? So or 22 minutes, whatever it is. No, 24 minutes. And while I was showcasing it, it got me because here's a little gem I enjoy telling people about the album. The hottest song to pick at first was what song was going to be number 12 on the album. Right? To me, if you don't know who I am out there in listening land, 12 holds a significant place in my life. My son was born on 12/12/12. the meaning of 12 it resonates in my life. It resonates with God speaking to me, things of that nature. So the 12th track was more important than the first track, right? If anyone that knows me knows my life story right now, up to this point, the 12th track was way more important than the first track. You know, in the first track, the first song, you want to hit your listener. So that's what I
that number is significant to you.
I had to play. That song, because I haven't released it yet. It's not online, but when we created it, I gave a little reel for it, and the real people perceived it immediately. That got 1,200 hits on the reel, or 1,200 views on the reel. So I wanted to showcase that one. I feel like it's my most powerful song that I created. It's called Focus.
Okay.
It was a poem that I wrote during my grief process. When another person in my poetry world challenged me to face my grief and do it through poetry. Like, take the grief on head on, be raw, just sit down. Don't worry about sharing what it is just write it out. This is what they tell me. Just write it out. Don't worry about sharing it. Don't worry about, just get it out, write it out, write it out, write it out. So every year I go through something called 12 Days of Jace. After he passed away, it was already 12 Days of Jace because the way he was birthed, December 12th, it already told its own story. How it came about was the first 12 days of his life, which brings me to December 24th, like 12 days of Christmas, right? They got that old cliche song, 12 days of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
Yep.
I wrote out my thoughts every day I wrote my thoughts of having my son. First day I wrote my thought of him being born, and the second day I wrote my thought of, enjoying the joy of what it was to have a son. But then up the street in Connecticut, the kids got killed.
Oh, new. You
know what I'm talking about?
Sandy Hook.
Sandy Hook happened. When my son was born, I was in the hospital bed, holding my son, watching the news break about Sandy Hook, and I cried. Like, as I'm holding my son, like, what world did I just bring you in? You can't even go to school now without the fear of being, and Sandy Hook's a whole nother thing. Like,
Right.
But this is just actual facts of what was going on.
With that in mind, yeah.
So I started writing down my thoughts, and it brought me. I don't know how you do it, but when I go on my social networks, me, I'm dyslexic. I study even in my writings, and I'm illiterate. I don't spell. I can't spell. Let's say, I don't want to say I can't. I don't spell the way I should do at my caliber at this point in my life. I'm a poet, right? I study words, but for some reason, there's something off in my brain that doesn't allow me to spell. Even when I know I can spell a word, it's a simple word, and it still comes out wrong, right? That's just something that's off in my brain. I've accepted it. So I've grown accustomed to going back to my posts, and I'll read it, and I'll realize that that's not what I said. That's not what I said. And I go back and I correct it. So in that process, I realized that I was writing poetry to my son the first 12 days of his life. So I decided before I got to day 12, let's take this poem and I took all my thoughts and I put it into one piece of paper of a poetry, and then I shared that on Christmas Day to my followers, to my family, read it to my son. The whole thing, I'm enjoying the process. The world is a beautiful place to be in at this point for me. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, and I have many children. I don't want to hurt none of them. They're all I love all my children, but at this point, I didn't think anything ever was going to take my son away from me. At this point, I only had 2 daughters, and this is my firstborn son. In the process of that first year, my creative brain says, December 1st, I'm going to write down all my morals, values, and admirations for my son. Each and every day, I'm going to pick a new topic, and I'm gonna hone in on a topic and talk solely to my son and tell him everything that he needs to hear. And then on his 21st birthday, I'm gonna give him both these poems on his 20th, something that he could cherish, right? Something that's personal, something that lasted over the years, right? This is something that's, you know, I can, as a keepsake to my son.
Sorry, buddy.
So you can imagine once my son died, the devastation, right? Once my son died, no longer do I have the, you know, now I got these poems sitting around, right? So that's how I got to expressing myself on Focus. Let me bring it full circle. I was challenged to take on the bereavement head on through the poetry, and once I wrote this poem, you know, expressing the grievance, you know, everything that I think maybe I didn't capture all the emotion fully, but when you hear it, when I went live the other day, there was some people on there, they were crying. They don't know me from a hole in the wall. I don't think they do. Might have crossed paths somewhere throughout, you know, might have shook a hand, might have gave a hug, seen him at a show, seen him somewhere. But to say I know this person personally, she's never been to a Christmas party at my house. She's never been to my birthday parties. You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
I don't know her personally like that. And she expressed, oh my God, she's like, I don't remember her exact words, but she wrote on the live, you know, that reached me. You know, she expressed she was crying. There were real tears. I caught myself as an entertainer. You want to get out there and show the emotion without showing the emotion half the time, right? You want to be able to give people a show, but really, it's still real life. It's still really what we go through. It's, you know, at least I know I'm pouring my heart and my soul into these poems, into this music. But nobody wants to see you on stage really crying, even though you went through it. They don't want. They'll be there for you, but they don't. Nobody wants to see you crying. Nobody wants to see a grown man cry. I don't want to see you cry. You don't want to see me cry. You want to see me prosper. I want to see you prosper. But the fact that I was able to capture these emotions and put it in a song, and then I told my nephew about it, and we at this point we made one song. And this kid is a genius on music right now. He's a triple threat. He's good looking. He can sing. He can rap. He's a quadruple threat. He's super athletic. The kid is very talented, right? At this point, I made my first collaboration with him and Todd's son, TJ, who goes by the name of Chase the Bag Tech, right? So we made a song called 3 a.m., which was a whole nother reason behind that song. Like that song was super powerful for me. But he really captured the emotion as my nephew. And being the uncle, like when the kids grow up around you, right, you don't know what they're seeing, what they're hearing, what they're taking in. But let me tell you, they hear everything. They see everything. You think they're not seeing it. You think they're not hearing it. You think they're not understanding your pain. They're not going through it with you. My nephew went through the whole process with me wholeheartedly, cried. When my son died, it affected his life. It affected decisions in his life right now. I think he's 21 years old right now. He's still a kid. For him, he's still a baby, right? So he poured his heart out into that track. And I say all that to say this. It's to me, it's one of the most powerful tracks that I've made to date right now. And I've made several. I've made some good poems, some good music, but this is powerful. This is healing. This is, you know, if I didn't make any other track that said I'm working on healing, this is the track for healing, and it ended up picking itself, and really that's how the title was born. Because I told my buddy, hey, let's take a ride with me. I want you to hear my album. He's like, what? I say, well, I want you to hear it in the car because it sounds better. You gotta hear this note. You gotta hear that note.
You gotta give the car test. Yeah.
And we went. I said, take a ride with me. And then when I said take a ride with me, it stuck. You know, it just really stuck. And then I was with another fellow mentor of mine. He ended up becoming a mentor of mine, Christopher Johnson, who in his own right is fantastic. He's done fantastic things, like crazy. This guy walked up and down buildings in Providence, spitting poetry in front of thousands of people at PVD Fest. the first time, the first accolade that blew my mind, the guy got $10,000 for one poem. Like,
Wow.
would you mind? Hey, here's $10,000. Write me a poem. You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Like, I'm making light of it, but that's the truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? The guy got, so the guy got accolades like this. He does things different. I picked him up. I picked him up, spent some time with him. I wanted to go do something. We didn't end up getting to do what we wanted to do. I was playing my music forum, and we went to go grab a bite to eat. We were down on Thayer Street. There was a couple of individuals that were out there speaking the word for the Lord.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. At first glance, they look Muslim, right? To this point, I still don't know if they were Muslim or Christian, right? Because even Jesus, right? I want to believe they're Christian, but their tactics were different, right? It reminded me of stuff that you see on TV. Like one person would say something, everybody would repeat it. They had an agenda. They had a
Hebrew Israelites, probably. That's what it sounds like.
So maybe that's what it was,
Yeah.
right? So Christopher was thrown off by it. He didn't want to have any of that energy. He's been going through his own things. Not to put his business out there. He's been going through his own things, and he's trying to protect his energy right now. He's like, I don't even want to talk. Like, what are you crossing the street? He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, he knows me, right?
Yeah.
No. I gotta go talk to these guys, right? They're talking about God. I gotta go. I feel like I'm a coward if I walk by them and not talk. I feel like I was a coward if I would have went all the way around them to avoid them. I couldn't.
Right.
There's nothing in my body that would allow me to avoid them.
Right.
Nothing.
You had to go.
I had to. And I'm a talker, right? I listen. I'm a talker because I listen. You speak, I hold on, and then I respond.
Yep.
With that energy, I give you that same energy or whatever it invites in me. So I was quiet as kept most of the time, and then boom, so I ignited in me. I spit about 3 poems at that. Right, just let it all flow.
Yep.
I started letting some knowledge go because up to the point I wasn't saying much. They were doing all the talking. They were like hogging the energy themselves.
Yeah. Right.
So then I let it go. Once I let it go, they were silent. There was no more anything. They all were, hanging on to every single word that was coming out of my voice. And now here comes Christopher Johnson. Like, hey Jay, you ready? You ready? Can we go now? You feel better? Can we go now? So we go up the street. Now I got an appetite. It was like I just finished performing.
Yeah.
I got an appetite. We grab a sandwich. We head over to Roger Williams Park, the viewing park.
Oh yeah. Yep. Governor Park.
I don't know what it's called. It's like
I know
got that guy Roger Williams.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It looks over the whole city.
Back in the day, the kids used to call it Snitch Park because he's pointing. So we pull up, and he goes,
Prospect Park.
It's Prospect Park?
I believe so. Yeah.
He goes, Jay, don't move. I'm like, what? We're about to eat food, right? I got my East Side Pockets. Let's give him a promotion. East Side best raps in the
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
So I got my East Side Pockets, about to dig into my sandwich. He got his sandwich. I got mine. He's like, give me a phone. I'm like, what? What do you need to? Why? What do you want my phone for? Hey, open it up. Like, he goes, get under my password. I open it up. He goes, yeah. He goes, this is what you've been waiting for. He goes, and he starts shooting. He goes, I got it. I'm like, what do you? He said, don't move. And he's taking pictures. He's like, there's your album cover.
Wow.
He
Just
was
like
not,
that.
He was not. Oh, I'm sorry. He was not. He was not lying. I thought he was, messing with me at first, right? He shows to me. I look at him. I was like, oh, those are pretty cool pictures, right? But now I got the food in front of me. Oh yeah, those are pretty cool pictures. I put the phone down.
I gotta eat.
I drop him off.
Yeah.
Go home, whatever. I forgot all about the pictures.
Yep.
I go on my phone to look for something else. I'm in the pictures for something else. I'm editing something else, and I come across those pictures, and I start looking at them, and I start blowing them up, and I'm looking at them, blowing them up, looking at them like, come ride with me, right?
Yeah.
Ride with me. It's a picture of me in my old school. I'm in my 1977 Cutlass Supreme. I got an old school. Big shouts out to my dad. He blessed me. I paid for it, but he blessed me on it. I didn't pay full value. I promise you. but I did pay for it.
Yep.
So he blessed me with it. So I got it's me sitting in the old school, and he got a shot of Providence, the downtown, the skyline in the rear view mirror, and you see like my peripheral, my profile with the glasses and one of my bucket hats or something on.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, he was right. This son of a B was right. This is the album cover.
Nice.
And I took it. Once I put it on the album cover, it made all the other art just fall right into that one picture. Set it off and made me check off another checklist
For the rest of the art. Yeah, yeah.
for everything else for Remy. So,
Nice. Yeah. Check those emails.
check those emails.
That's awesome, man. That's such a dope story.
Yeah, so
too.
so there's the album. So I encourage you, once it should be. I don't know if I'm gonna be strategic on picking the date as much as it's really just locking down the venue. More at this point, before I thought I had to release it on like December 12th or maybe my birthday or a significant number had to be, but I don't want to pay attention to that. I don't want that to control me too much anymore. You know what I mean? It's like every date is so important to me. I don't want, 9/11, right? Every date is so important. Numbers are so important. So I didn't want that control me as much as the venue for the listening party. Once I got that, all right, this is definitely the venue. This is definitely the listening party. Then I'll pick because then I can drop it. I can do all the promotions. I want to be able to make sure I have some stuff to give away for people that come as a thank you for listening. Take, as a thank you for being a part of this. Take this home with you to remember me by, and support the album, that type of thing now. So
I love it, man.
I got some I got some T-shirts that have some slogans on it.
Okay. They're getting ready, or you have them ready now?
They're getting ready right now.
You're preparing for the event.
I'm preparing for the event.
That's
awesome. So I'm just solely preparing for the event.
Awesome.
But everything is.
That's awesome.
The album itself is done.
Make sure you got some XLs on hand.
Yeah,
if you got some XLs on hand, yeah. And yeah, that's awesome, man. I really love how you specify, like, I don't know, your method of specifying. You hold that date, because obviously that date is a very significant number, very very significant date, and how you categorize the album and how you pick the song and all that stuff. That's really cool of how your method on finding that. And then you got 2 other albums on the way. Are they all going to be presented in one event, or are you doing this event and then the next one?
One event, next one,
next
one. But
that's
the game plan.
That's the way you got to do it.
All 2024, all 3 albums 2024.
Okay.
And because we got brand new, I'm in the studio right now. We got brand new music we're working on.
Good.
I got a Christmas song that I just wrote.
Nice.
My nephew, the engineer. Nice. Everybody's on board of writing a Christmas song. It's our first, like,
that's cool.
Something completely different. I wrote the Christmas song, sent it out. I sent it out to the guys. They loved it. They started working on their end. Christmas came and went, and they were like, "Why don't we get?" I just, I got kids, I got life, I got business, I thought I was gonna get in there and just totally work on the Christmas album just to get it done.
Yeah.
But I got too much going on right now with the album, so the Christmas song will be out for next year. It's already written.
Yep.
We just got to lay down.
It's all God. It's all God timing, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
all that stuff is God timing. It all comes out. It's. I love it. I love the fact that man, I'm excited for that too. Make sure you tag me in it, because I definitely want to come to that event for sure. I want to support in any way I can, help in any way I can. If in the event that you come up with a date or something, I could help promote it on here somehow, or have you come in or speak on it, whatever. I don't know what you haven't locked in the event yet, but tell me.
I think so far the front runner is Needle and Thread.
Okay.
You know a better event? You know a better venue than that?
Well, I thought I've never been to Needle and Thread, so I'm not sure where that is.
So you know where all right, so I think it used to be called Challenges back in the day. You remember Challenges?
I don't know. Where
you know what Providence Courthouse is?
Yes.
The district court, not the Superior. Well, in between district and Superior.
Yeah. I know that.
So it used to be a sports bar. So if this is the building, and Providence Courthouse is over here, like this is the front of the building, Providence Courthouse. You come this way, you take a left, and the building's right there on the left. There's a parking garage right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There's a country bar right on the corner.
Yeah.
A new country bar.
And I think there used to be is it nearby? It used to be called Lux Burgers or something like that. It's closed down now, but
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway,
so that's a front runner venue. JL Dana's is family. The owner is my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great establishment. They got food.
Okay.
Some of the best chicken wings in the state of Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
They got a full menu. So I could they're a front runner because of it's like home field advantage being there.
Right.
Like what could go wrong? You get what I'm not
right.
No, listen, let me say that, but
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like it's so that I'm leaning towards JL Dana's only because, but not that their place ain't elegant because it's comfort in there.
Yeah.
It's a neighborhood bar / restaurant / club basically.
Mm-hmm.
The needle and thread, I like the elegance of it. When I just did a feature show there last month, and I like the when you walk in, it has that. So if you look, me, I look at a lot of times I look here, right? Being a producer, director, I look here. When you look here, it looks like it belongs on TV.
Okay.
You got the brick.
Okay, you got the rustic
lights,
look.
You got that rust, right? And it just got a great. It looks like it belongs on. It looks like comedy, like any comedy set USA across the country. Like it has that venue look. It has that small venue vibe to it. So that's why I'm leaning on that. But that place might not be big enough.
Okay, I was just gonna say, like, I would pick the place that could pack in the most people.
Yeah, so that's the only reason why that's what gets it knocked back.
Gotcha.
And then Jared Tillen has his legendary boxing. After I talked to JP the DJ about the listening party, my brain's all right. Once he got on board, he's like, Jay, I'm on board. I'm a believer of your music. I'm a believer of his work. I've been watching the kid from day one before he had any real equipment to what he has now. Now he has legit equipment. He's a legit DJ. He's everywhere you want to be. He's one of the hottest DJs in Providence right now. But I known him since before he was a DJ. I know his mom. You know what I mean? Like I can't say before he was a DJ because I think it's always been a part of him.
Yeah.
Been doing it his whole life.
Right.
Even for the family. But before he became a professional DJ, right?
Yeah.
So once I got that done, I go over to Legendary Boxing. I'm excited. I tried getting him to come here today to take Todd's place.
Okay.
Because that kid's always I hate the kid. Man, that man Jared is always
Jared. Yeah, I've heard. I know of him. I heard of him. You talked about him.
He was about to come on the stage show. He was about to accompany me here today, and then one of his clients showed up, and he's like, if you as soon as I'm done with the client, if you're still there, I'll come through. I'll come in. He was gonna. So that's why I was watching for the text message to see if hey, I'm on my way.
I wouldn't mind having him in here one of these days.
Oh, I'll set that up for you all day.
I wouldn't mind having him in here.
He's a powerhouse.
I've heard a lot
he's
about him.
Motivated. Yep. His sobriety takes a forefront on his health and well-being. He doesn't mind telling you the story of how he got to his sobriety in his life. He has his own trials and tribulations. It's no lie who his dad is, right? Organized crime and things of that nature.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
So
that's it's a good story. It's good history.
His dad went to jail for. His dad was a shooter for the mob. Right?
Gotcha. Roger that.
I'm a layman's term. I'm just trying to sugarcoat it, but why?
Roger
right?
that. Yeah.
So his dad's. It's just a well-known fact who his dad is.
Roger that.
Right, and in today's society, because of who your dad is, you're a fault too. You're a bad guy too.
Right.
So he has his own story. Right now, he's really going through it. Parent alienation, parental alienation, is major in his life right now, and I don't want to cause him any strife. But anytime a parent keeps another parent away from their child solely out of spite, because you're no longer getting together, because no longer going through whatever, that's parent alienation, and you should not be doing it. It's the worst thing to do to a child, and he's living it right now. He's been arrested 7 times for nothing. He got arrested for violating a restraining order for being on the beach when the ex-wife was never even on the beach. Like, how do you get arrested for being at a beach that your ex-wife was even at the beach? You know what I mean? Like he got arrested. Why? He's in front of I don't want to tell too much of a story, but It's easy to, you know what I mean?
Right.
I've been on the side of him witnessing his trials and tribulations, and we're all without, we all have our own whatever, right? We all fall short of the glory, right? We all need God's grace.
Of course.
But for the past several years, this man has made a platform and made a safe place that if you have a problem that can potentially get you to kill somebody, be killed, or be put in jail, right? Instead of taking that to the streets and doing what men do, right? Acting on emotion, right? And doing the wrong thing. He created a platform originally called Brawl for an All and changed it to the Call Out and made it safe for you to deal with if the only way you can deal with it is to duke it out the old-fashioned way, then bring it here and I will help you.
I have a phone. I think I have a story with him. If he's the right one that I'm thinking of right now, I think it is because the name Jared rings a bell. I think that I was supposed to be a part of some. There was an individual. I'm not going to mention his name because he's he doesn't need to be mentioned.
Right.
He's not important to mention.
You don't deserve it.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve it. But anyway, I would call him a troll. He was a troll. You probably know him yourself.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was a troll, and eventually it ended up storming over to where somehow, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Jared somehow offered a like an MMA type thing or whatever. But I was already over the edge on the point where like I didn't want anybody being involved.
Is this at the time when your cousin died?
I mean,
It's like right after, right?
it wasn't too far after. No, right.
Does his family own an oil company?
I don't know. This person?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Do you know his name?
Yes, I'll tell you after. I'll tell you after.
Initials JS?
No.
All right.
No.
Because I remember.
Starts with a C. Last name begins with a P, and that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Anyway, long story short, this thing was supposed to go down and never went down, and yeah, I think that's I don't know why I popped in. I don't know where my point was going.
So
with that.
you were presented with this, what a chat like to go.
I think yeah. If I remember
on his
correctly,
platform?
the offer was that he would supply the area, and I was like, well, there can't be any rules, and I don't want anybody else in there but me and this person.
Yeah.
Lock the door, whatever you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's the level. That's at the time. That's the level that I was on. You know what I'm saying? But it's good to know that he still has a program that's actually doing that and getting people to not do things that are that could result in a complete change of their whole life.
You know Ray J, Brandy's the singer Brandy.
Yes,
Ray J,
her brother. Yeah.
So he's like a gatekeeper right now for entertainment.
Okay.
For reality TV shows. He's like the guy for reality TV shows. It's no secret that the industry was just in a strike.
Yeah.
For many months. I don't remember how many months they were in a strike, doing a strike.
Yeah, like a writers guild or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Ray J's people, by way of Rhode Island native, big ups to Kevin Jesus. He goes by the name of Suave. He connected the dots for Jared. Got Jared on the phone with Ray J, and they're working out. They filmed a bunch of stuff. They're trying to make a pilot right now for the TV show called The Call Out.
Nice.
And they teamed up with Celebrity Boxing, Damon Philman.
Nice.
So
yeah, I heard
he jumped on board.
So that is the same person.
So he jumped on board. So the energy's there. The things are going. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. The first call out, the Brawl for It All was fantastic. Thousands of people showed up. I was the MC for the first event. I was privileged to get in the ring and do all the announcements and talk to the people. I had a great time doing it. Fast forwarded to call out. It's just. I tell you right now, when you have a problem, I wish something like this was out back then when I was doing, I could have saved myself some grief.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
By hey, instead of going banging out in the street and get arrested or whatever, we could have just jumped in the damn ring. And I'll tell you right now, I seen it with my own eyes. As when it was Brawl for It All, two of the main headliners had real beef.
Mm-hmm.
Like their friends were really trying to kill each other. They was really trying. They were really at each other's necks.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that people around them were getting hurt. Families were getting hurt, and that embodied the whole purpose of why they started this platform.
Mm-hmm.
And it took 3 fights. It took 3 fights to get these two not to be friends, but to be in the same vicinity as each other and not want to kill each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they truly can be in the same building and have respect for each other, and their friends have respect for each other. Because you better believe you got all the mouth. Get in the ring, and you don't want to get in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, you're looked at differently, right? So
Right.
you tend to watch what it is that you know. I'll do whatever. We'll get in the ring, prove it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as soon as you tell someone to get in the ring, a lot of people are watching you.
Yeah,
It's a completely different. It's a completely different thing. I don't care who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? All these professional boxers, MMA fighters, they all tell you it's a completely different thing the minute you step in that ring. Completely different thing.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So yeah, I believe in Jared.
Let's do it.
So I'm glad we got to talk about him right now. And Jared, if you're out there, I know you'll be listening at some time. I'm gonna, come on down. Let's make that connection. This is the perfect podcast.
I would love to have him on. I would love to talk about his beginning and why he's doing it and all that stuff. That'd be good to talk. That'd be good to talk about.
I'm gonna set that up. I definitely set that up, man. That's
dope.
That's gonna be a great show for you. I promise you.
Well, this show, I'm so appreciative of having you on and always coming with fruit from the tree. You know what I mean? And talking about your story and also talking about the successes that you've walked into and been creating and growing in and all that stuff, man. And the powerful story behind the album, which is, like, to me, my favorite.
Thank you.
Not so I mean my favorite as in it's just real and raw. It's real raw. It's a real raw story, brother. And for a second there, you almost had you definitely almost had me in tears with that one part on saying you had these poems and you were gonna present it at a later time, and that resonates with me because I have a son, and that is the biggest fear ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So as I'm talking, you're.
I'm thinking of him. I'm
I'm
thinking. I'm thinking of your boy too, but I'm thinking of mine. It's like,
yeah, of course.
So it's it touches, man. And the thing here is I'm much more emotional now than I've ever been being a dad. I've never been as emotional. And when I mean emotional, like not like a crybaby, but like there's things that I look at.
Real with your feelings.
Yes,
you're
I'm
real.
I'm very real with my feelings. I'm very careful with how I with what I show him, with what I talk about, and all that stuff. And just with it in general with everybody else, my kindness comes forward more now.
Oh, I love that.
You know what I'm saying? My kindness comes more forward. And I desire peace, man. I desire peace and I desire salvation. It's probably one of the number one things that I desire most, because I have struggled with the inner peace for I just turned 38 this past December 27th.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you, brother.
I didn't know that. Did I know that?
You might have. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? It was out there.
What'd you do for your birthday?
I'm a dad now, man. I just kind of chilled. I kind of chilled back.
That's what I do. I spend time with my family on my birthday.
I spent time with
my
my family.
Texas Roadhouse every year.
Yep, I spent time with my family. We did the food. During the weekend, my girl and her cousin, a good friend of mine, they brought me out to Longhorn Steakhouse. So I went out there. Oh, and my son was with me too. And just had a good time. It was very just relaxing.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, man, like this walk has been. I love the walk that you're on, man, and I love the walk that we're all on. We all have our own individual walk, and it's beautiful to see what you're doing with what you're doing, man, and you're also inspiring. You're also about to walk into to teach the youth, man, and
training school. That's
you know what I'm saying,
major,
and show. Yeah, it's super major because you now are able to grasp full face to face with some kids that just need that little spark of guidance, that notion that someone cares, someone has a message, someone's lived through it, and maybe they can learn from what you've gone through, right? And make it out, and they will, God willing. But brother, I love you, man. I love that you came here and shared more fruit.
Thank you, bro.
I love to have you back as soon as you're able to, and make sure that you let me know that when you lock that event in.
I will.
Give me the
100%.
event. Give me the date. I'll promote it on here as much as I can, up until the date that it comes out. I'll share whatever that needs to be shared, and because I also want to attend too. I definitely want to be there. I want to bring as many people as I can with me also. So
you are the man, bro.
I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Now, before we close out, where can everyone reach you?
Jay Chattelle everything. JayChatTelle, otherwise known as the People's Poet. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I think TikTok. I got TikTok.
You
my
got
kids.
TikTok? Yeah.
I don't even know how to use it though.
Yeah. It's a little confusing.
It's a little bit different than the rest of them.
It is.
Even Snapchat. I'm still
Okay.
I got Snapchat too, and I just I know I got yelled at by my wife. Why do you have this on, that on? You do that? Like I don't even know what that means.
Right.
So I'm trying. Some of them I have because of the kids.
Yep.
Some of them you'll see my daughter and my son all over the TikToks. It's really not even for me. It's for them.
Yeah.
If they're gonna be on it, I'd rather have them on it where I can supervise them instead of them going behind my back and
Yeah. So
all their friends are on it. So there's nothing.
keep
I can
an
do
eye
about
on it. Yeah, I
keep an eye on it.
I get
you know
it.
what I mean?
Totally get that.
I'm not parent. I'm not gonna.
Roger that.
I'd rather know what my child's doing and help guide them than be so hard on them where they have to feel like they need to lie to me and go behind my back and do something.
Roger that.
I keep an open door policy with my children, with my family members, with my friends.
Yeah.
I keep that. That's just who I am. I embody that. So.
Roger that.
But yeah, I'm on
Jay
all the
Chattelle
session.
everything.
Jay Chattelle,
The People's Poet.
the People's Poet, known as the People's Poet.
Yeah.
You know you got the right one.
Yeah.
Actually, there's only one. So if you have the last name Chattelle, we are related.
Okay.
100%.
There's so many of you too.
Yeah, that's not like a Smith or Cruz or whatever.
Yeah. It's not a common name. But
It's not a common name.
Yeah.
It actually has a meaning. It means one of slaves and one of kings. So when in French it means one of kings. In English, it means one of slaves.
Okay.
So I my family. It even has a crest.
Crest. Yeah. Family crest. Yeah.
It even has not everybody has a family crest connected to their name.
Mhm.
So it's pretty cool. But yeah, Jay Chattelle everything. I love you, brother. Thank you
I
for
love you
having
too,
me.
brother.
Man.
Yeah,
This
man.
is I enjoy it. I look forward to it.
Same
looking
here.
forward to this.
Same here.
So.
This was a good one. I appreciate you, brother. I really
Thank you,
do.
man.
All right. Thank you, everybody that's tuned in. Make sure you go. Jay Chattelle everything, all apps, all major platforms, and also like, share, subscribe on the Tru Perspective on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Rumble. I thank you all for tuning in. Everyone that's watching on Facebook, Rumble, and YouTube right now. Make sure that you go to Rumble. The rumble.com/the Tru Perspective, the TRU Perspective. I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in, Jay. Always a pleasure, brother.
Man. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
This is your last chance. After this, there's no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth. Nothing more.
And this will be our last chance to say.
Trying to free your mind is this feeling that is perfect to me.
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Genuine as wrong to break. A lot of shared calling.
I can only show you the door.
Waking up.
You're the one that's to walk through.